Welcome to the City Council, Calexico Community Redevelopment Agency, Successor Agency, Calexico Financing Authority, regular meeting, May 7th, 2013. Ms. Lyons, if we can please have the legal report.
Thank you, Mayor. Council met in closed session. Items A, B, C, and E were discussed. Direction was given. No reportable action was taken. Item D was removed in its entirety and not discussed. Thank you.
Thank you. City Clerk, please note all are in attendance today. And we'll start off this meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Mr. Tony Tirado, please. Thank you, Mr. Tirado. Okay, we have quite a number of people here today. I know that a lot of our visitors today are interested in our agenda, so we're going to try to take this along and go as swiftly as we can, providing everybody with an opportunity to speak. But we'll go ahead and start with our normal proceedings, and then we'll get to the public comments later, which I know a lot of you are here for. First of all, I'd like to start off with the approval of the agenda, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, first by Mr. Moreno, second by Mr. Hodge. Please vote. Mr. Moreno? Okay, thank you. Motion carries 4-1. Okay, we're going to start off today with presentations. First of all, our first presentation will be by Mr. Bobby Brock. Hello, Bobby. Regarding the Imperial Valley Community Foundation.
Sorry, out of courtesy for everybody, I'll be sure to keep my presentation brief, and if it's okay with the council too, I'd be happy to come back at a different time when you have a lighter agenda, but I'm glad to announce some of the information we're sharing with the rest of the audience, as this does concern the residents of Calexico as well as the rest of Imperial County. So Mayor Hurtado and distinguished council, appreciate the invitation, the opportunity to speak to you tonight. My name is Bobby Brock. I'm the president and CEO for the Imperial Valley Community Foundation, and what we are is someone going to click through the slides, or Connor, you want to just sit there and I'll ask you to click forward, please? We're a public charity, and we support different nonprofits as well as the goals and interests of residents here in Imperial Valley to make it a nicer place to live. We're not publicly supported with government funds. Everything we do is through donations, both locally and we seek outside support as well. We have local leadership, and so we're represented by folks from all over the valley, from Calexico, Brawley, Calipatria, and everywhere in between. And what we do is manage different charitable funds that benefit Imperial Valley, both those that may have been set up by businesses or families, or else others that may be on behalf of a specific nonprofit organization. Connor, go ahead. Something that distinguishes the Community Foundation, and again, this does apply to everybody as we concern ourselves with bettering the Imperial Valley and the goals we have for the region. One of the things we do is bring new organizations into existence. So those that provide public services and programs for seniors or youth, we help start from the ground up. Something else we do inside our office is working with SCORE, which is a low-cost or no-cost counseling service that helps new businesses get started, both those that are minority-operated or those that, again, maybe are for an existing business that they want to strengthen their current operations. Again, we're broad and flexible. We're not cookie cutter. It depends upon the goals and the needs of our communities and the priorities of the residents. We work to bring other folks together on difficult community issues, and so serve as a neutral convener where we don't have any biases, but we want folks to be able to talk openly and honestly to come to a resolution, again, for what's the best interest and best at heart for the community. We also preserve the legacy of donors, again, and with that being said, too, offer anonymity. We know that in the valley it's small, and then of course we have folks from Mexico that want to support the community. And so anonymous giving is available for folks that want to do good but don't want their name out there. So we do respect that, as well as personalized giving. So we do things to honor the names of those that have either passed away or do good work in our community right now, either in honor or memory of, as well as families that have a specific passion that they've cared about for a long time, and we help to preserve their history of giving to the community. With that being said, too, I'll try not to get technical. I'm probably halfway through it for those of you that are timing me, but don't get out the hook just yet. It is a permanent endowment. You know, one of the things that the Valley has an issue with, and it's not unique to our community, but is sustainability. You know, and so often our organizations and nonprofits work, you know, really hand to mouth. You know, we don't have much of a reserve system. And so, you know, with that being said, we're trying to create that piggy bank for a rainy day, or else to help organizations ramp up their activities and their services by establishing an endowment. And what that is just a pool of money where you lock away the principal. So if you have $1, that dollar stays the same. You just work off of the interest, so it grows over time. So we're to give more money away. You know, right now we work with the San Diego Foundation, who was in existence before we were created. You know, and they have other funds benefiting Imperial Valley. On our books, we have about $1 million to support the Valley, and with San Diego and those existing funds that we also have, you know, an attachment to, and they support the community. That there's about $3.3 million right now benefiting Imperial Valley. Many of those are endowed, so we work off of the interest, and that creates a sustainable model to support communities' needs as they change over time, as well as we work outside the region. Excuse me, outside the Imperial Valley, partnering with doing binational initiatives with the government in Baja California, as well as also with our neighbors in San Diego, Riverside, Inland Empire, and in the Arizona areas. Our main thing is to support the economy, build opportunity, and improve the quality of life in Imperial Valley to make it a place where people want to do business and raise families and retire. Next, please. There's different funds, and again, this is something where I mentioned not cookie cutter, very customizable and available to help families and businesses that have specific goals in mind, or else those that may be a little bit more broad. Community endowment is one of those. We have a Brawley Community Foundation that was established about the same time we were revitalized. You know, and since then we've worked to establish community funds or endowments that are unique to and specifically support the communities of Calexico, Imperial, El Centro, and Holtville. And now too, we're looking to do some additional outreach for our neighboring areas. Conservation and mitigation, whether that's a New River or other wetlands projects, salt and sea restoration. Now we're doing work with the renewable energy companies that are conservation minded, both in biological resources as well as cultural preservation. You know, and so community foundations steward restitution programs as well as voluntary mitigation. So we help to offset any impacts that projects may have on land or job loss. So we try to make sure that we create new opportunities. Again, just in broad strokes, designated funds would be if a donor or company wanted to establish a program to benefit a specific organization. Donor advised if somebody wants to stay involved in making recommendations to where those grants are going to. Field of interest would be more broad for education, environment, or other, you know, again, more general areas. Seedling, again, to help funds get started, as we realize not everybody has the same, you know, checkbook or available capital to set up a new fund to do good. So we let people develop those over time, as well as other special programs and foundation-initiated activities. You know, with that, one example is the Imperial Valley Regional Disaster Fund, which we set up after the 2010 Easter earthquakes. You know, and we were able to, and I think I mentioned to the council at that time that, you know, we did grant about $50,000, give or take, back into Calexico to help displaced seniors and mobile home residents, you know, recover, you know, from the earthquakes up through Christmas until we got them back inside the Dianza Hotel. You know, so we haven't forgotten that, and we've been involved in the recent floods and earthquakes as well. Next, please. Again, I'm almost done, I promise. Cierto. Some new funds just to show some diversity in our activities. Again, in working with renewable energy companies and conservation groups, we've established the Burrowing Owl Stewardship and Education Fund. Again, that's a voluntary mitigation program, or excuse me, conservation program that these companies have set up and are putting in. It doesn't have to be a solar company contributing to the fund. It's also open to other enthusiasts and environmental advocates that want to support the fund, but we did work with 8 Minute Energy and AES Solar, as well as the Sierra Club. So we have the support of the National Environmental Group to do this and carry it forward with local leadership as well as outside expertise. A couple of other funds that we've set up, again, is a startup organization, would be the California Midwinter Fair Heritage Foundation. Again, that supports our local ag district, and that is, you know, a longstanding culture and employer of Imperial County is the ag sector, and so we also preserve the fairgrounds as state funding pulls away from that resource here locally. The Financial Institutions Fund is, again, a partnership between financial institutions. You know, that would be the banks and credit unions that hold physical deposits in Imperial County that are looking to work together. Currently, we have participation from Rabobank, Community Valley Bank, First Imperial Credit Union, and Sun Community Federal Credit Union. And those are folks that typically don't work together, but now they're looking to leverage resources as things become tighter, and they see more of a need to do greater impact with less dollars as they become more restricted here to benefit our community. Again, public health is another area that we support. We just recently established a fund with the Imperial County Breastfeeding Coalition. You know, and so it's not just about nursing, but also you know, health and educating moms and doing other, you know, cancer screenings, things like that, to develop a healthy lifestyle in that home. A couple of scholarship funds, again, around 4-H and agriculture, nursing, public health. And we have $3 million committed, you know, through Pattern Energy to set up a few different endowments. Again, money that will be preserved. We'll work off of the interest here to be granted into the community foundation over the next 20 years or the life of that project, you know, to support communities as well as now local education and broad Imperial Valley needs. Next, please. Again, we're just kind of letting everyone know that we're establishing a CoCLX Community Fund. That's, again, an endowment to support CoCLX. So it's money that some of the gifts will be here today and be granted back out to the community. Others will be here 20, 30, 40 years from now, after some of us are gone and many of us get to see the rewards of those generous gifts you know, that are made in the near future. What the community endowments do, again, it maintains local identity and allows folks to give where they live. We know that, you know, I think the Valley's made strides in getting away from a parochial attitude in terms of neighboring communities and being able to work together. But now, so we also know that, you know, people care about their home and more than anywhere else, and so we want to give folks that opportunity to support their hometown. Again, this is very grassroots. It's not something that's limited to folks that can write a $1,000 check or $10,000 check, but those that it's just as personally meaningful to give $5 or $10, and maybe as they, you know, do better over time or partner up with their folks or their church congregations or their other sports teams, you know, to consider doing things again to help build this endowment, because the rewards will come back in the near future, as well as you can feel confident that the money will be there in the future as well to take care of future generations. There's an advisory committee that'll work with the community to identify local needs and challenges so we can personalize the themes. So whether that's arts and culture, literacy, public safety, youth, you name it, you know, those things will be able to rotate over time so we're fair and we're broad in the reach of the grant making. Again, being able to assist businesses that want to invest in the community, perhaps in workforce development or education. You know, again, working with these advisory committees to identify those needs and give them a cleaner menu and make it easier to give back. So again, we're here to promote a culture of giving in Imperial County. We feel it's important to work in all the communities at the same time so that nobody feels left out. And CoCLX is one that is, you know, certainly looked upon, you know, on a regular basis, you know, as being very vibrant in a place where people take pride in living. So we you know, cherish that and are proud to, again, be able to offer our services and let you know that this thing is happening. We're not coming here asking the council or the audience for money, but we're saying this is something for your community, for your hometown, and we want to be able to partner with you and make this an even better place to live. My wife is from CoCLX, and I think the kids are taking karate lessons down the street right now. Next, please. Last slide. Is we do have a few folks that I want to thank for being early advocates for this, one of which is Councilman John Moreno, who serves as the chairman for the fund, Others, again, from the business community would be Robert Gronish with Garland's, Eric Ortega with Imperial Valley Taxi, Cesar Rodriguez with Arctic Air, and Robert Rubio with Imperial Printers. They're all our earliest initial advisory committee members, and we are actively recruiting, looking for folks that want to be engaged in helping Calexico become an even better place to live, and those that care about the future. Again, it's not about gaining recognition, but more so being able to have input, and I think that Calexico certainly sets the stage for civic engagement. Again, if there's any questions, I'll be happy to address those later or outside the meeting. The next slide has our contact information. My name is Bobby Brock. This is Connor Smith, who's with our office. Again, appreciate everyone's time. I know you're all excited for other reasons, but now I'm done talking. All right.
Thank you, Bobby. Bobby, I think that Councilman Mayor Pro Tem wants to ask you a question.
Sorry, Bobby.
Yes, sir.
This kind of program or organization you have, I've had an idea I've wanted to pursue, and I'm sure others will jump in. Would you be able to help in establishing a food bank in Calexico? Is that the kind of thing you might be able to do, especially for senior citizens?
We could certainly work with some of the existing organizations first to perhaps see if they're filling out programs like the food bank has done for a backpack program. But otherwise, too, if there was enough community support, we'd be happy to help with that process.
So that's a possibility.
Certainly, and that's the thing too, is if there was a private donor or a group that said, serving the hungry in Calexico is important to us. We want to put our money where our mouth is, and food where theirs is. We could have a fund that specifically supports Calexico's hungry population. And so that's the thing. We're able to honor those requests of donors, and it doesn't take away from what support organizations currently receive.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Mr. Brock. And congratulations, Mr. Moreno, for being involved in that. Hope it works out.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on now to presentation B is a presentation by our Financial Advisory Board regarding the board's ongoing activities. And that is my appointment there, Ms. Yoli Cordero.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor, Maritza Hurtado, City Councilman, staff, and guests. My name is Yolanda Cordero. I'm the chair to the Financial Advisory Board. Greg Gilman, Esther Gomez, and Cynthia Retaña are also part of this board. The focus of the Financial Advisory Board is to assist the City Council by providing support on the budgetary issues and the adoption of the budget, review department spending, provide the council with a financial plan for the city, perform any other functions as directed by the City Council from time to time. An example of budgetary issues is our payroll. We have identified in the budget that 83 to 87% approximately of our general fund expenditure is used for payroll. 44% of it is for police, 24% of it is fire, making it a total of 68% of our general fund to fire and safety, leaving a 32% to pay city staff and running the city operation. We have also identified the state retirement, which is called CalPERS, being paid on behalf of the employees that are active. We pay 100% into it, not we, the city. We also pay 100% of their health benefits to the employees and 100% of the benefits to their families. Medical claims for the fiscal year 2012-2013 to date are 1.3 million, and the city budgeted 2.2 million for this fiscal year. The board has also worked very closely with Mr. John Quinn, the finance director, in regards to the business licenses. In our business license department, we have current, past due, and closeout businesses. It's important that the two code enforcers are verifying their current businesses and businesses that no longer exist. That would give a more accurate list of businesses doing business in Calexico. In the last 3 months, we have made some progress. Specific areas of interest to the Financial Advisory Board is identifying other means of revenue other than the sales tax that our general fund receives. These are revenues that we feel the city has not tapped into its full capacity. Some of the revenues are the foreign trade zone, the new port of entry, our international airport, enterprise zone, housing development for higher-end homes, and more. The board has invited guest speakers to provide input and specific knowledge of these areas so it can narrow the scope of its work into more achievable and useful outcomes for the council and understanding and its disposition. We have also had some joint meetings with the EDC, the Economic Development Commission, in regards to some of the resources of revenue. The Financial Advisory Board has met nine times in the past 3 months. This board has excellent talent and resources to apply to any project the council may direct to do so. There is also a lot of interest in the ideas and topics that have come from the joint meetings with the economic development. I would like to thank you for the opportunity to present this update on behalf of the Financial Advisory Board. We extend an invitation to all city council and to the public to stop by one of our meetings. We are meeting every Monday at 6:30 at City Hall. If you have any questions for the board or myself, I'll be more than happy to answer them to the best of my ability. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ole. Thank you. That was a great presentation. You might want to stay there just in case. Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Cordero?
Excellent.
No? Thank you. Excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for your contributions to the city. Okay, next presentation then will be by the Economic Development Commission regarding the commission's ongoing activities. That's you, Mr. Horton?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and distinguished members of the council. My name is Ben Horton. I sit on the Economic Commission. I'm the chairman. And first off, I want to say this is the way it should look. Democracy in its finest out there in the audience, okay? This is great. You got your points across, you bring it out. Now to make a report about the Economic Commission. And I want to say, I'm going to give you a quick report because I didn't know I was going to give a report today until I read the agenda. It was a surprise to me. But in reference to the economic development, we've been working closely with the Chamber of Commerce, also with Mexicali and the Imperial Valley Economic Department. We've been working, having meetings, one side in Mexicali, one side in Imperial County. One of the things that we're looking to do is to have a joint conference and bring different elements from all over the state to Calexico for a conference here in Calexico. We have been working on this process, and we hope to have this ready, let's say, for the first part of September. This is going to be something new and different, and one of the things we're going to be looking at is housing. We've been focusing on a certain type of housing. Now we're going to start moving into different types of housing and see how it can work out, because the housing, let's say, arrangement and the way it works out has changed since around 2008. And we have to look at affordable plus mid and even upper level housing. And one of the other things that we're looking at is business and reference to manufacturing. In any kind of situation in a community, you have to have a balance. And the balance has to be commercial, manufacturing, and industrial. And we've been looking at the commercial side. Now we're going to be moving to a different part. There's one part that I hope that's not me. There's one part we've been looking at is how do you bring manufacturing to Calexico? And one of the points is, and we saw it in Mexicali, is the defense contractors are locating to manufacture certain things in Mexicali. Now there's a part of it that has to be done in the United States. And we've been talking to the, I guess the group there, and I like this idea maybe to piggyback with Mexicali because they seem to be moving forward. They have the process in place. Why not work with them in a joint manner? And that's one of the things that we're looking at in our economic. And I might point out that one of the points that we have been looking at is working with the Chamber of Commerce. Thanks to Mr. Romero, who is the economic side of the house of the Chamber of Commerce, we've been looking at the possibility is to look at more private involvement in the economic side of the city. We've been so concerned about government doing this, that, or whatever. There's a point, ladies and gentlemen, where government can only do so much. And we have to look at the private sector and see if we can work as a joint effort in order to make this work better. And I think that if we look at that and a joint process, we can move forward in a better direction. As I want to say, I didn't know I was going to make a report today, but you have to bear with me on that part. But and another point, you can see what the Economic Department is doing, Economic Commission is doing. And the key is going to be to focus in September when we have that joint economic conference here in Calexico. That's going to be the highlight, and I think it'll be something that people can look forward to. If there's any questions, feel free to ask. If not, Mr. Hodge.
Well, Mr. Horton, I want to thank you for the information. It's important that the folks hear this. I know you and I have had discussions about the importance of bringing manufacturing across here. I know there's a lot of naysayers that don't believe that can be done. But you've seeked this out, and what you've reported to me, it seems very feasible. It's just a matter of being aggressive and having the willpower to do so, and collaborating and bringing everybody forward. So I think that there's real potential for that happening. So I want to thank you for your hard work.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hodge. And thank you, people of Calexico. You are what makes everything possible in Calexico. Hurrah for Calexico. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Mr. Horton. Okay, that's it on our presentations. We're going to move on now to our next section of our agenda. It's the announcements and public appearances, public comment section. Note, not to exceed 3 minutes. This is the time for the public to address the council on any item not appearing on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. The mayor will recognize you, and when you come to the microphone, please state your name and place of residence for the record. While members of the public are encouraged to participate, it is unlawful to disturb or delay the council meeting with personal or slanderous remarks. If the item you wish to comment on is a closed session or consent item, please comment now. If the item you wish to comment on is on the public portion of the agenda, we will take your comment when we get to the item on the agenda. Please direct your questions and comments to the City Council.
Mayor,
And yes, ma'am.
I think there's one thing we should let the public know at this point is number 12 is not going to be discussed, or action's not going to be taken by the council related to appointment of the police chief tonight.
I'm sorry, can you
Therefore,
repeat that again?
On item number 12, the council is not going to discuss or take action on appointment of the police chief tonight.
Okay.
So if members of the public want to comment, they should probably come under the public comment section so they don't wait
Okay.
until you get to item number 12, because the council's not going to take action tonight.
Okay, so I hope everybody understood what she just said. What she just said is that item number 12, consideration of a resolution of the City Council to approve the appointment of the police chief, approve an employment agreement, and authorize the city manager to sign the employment agreement, that item is being removed today. So those individuals that stated on your slip here that you wanted to comment on item number 12, I'm going to be taking those comments now during general comments, okay? Because we have those two options. You can make your comments under general, and you can also make them under the specific item when we get to that. But being that we are not going to discuss that, then we're going to take them all at once. Okay, the other thing also is we just want to make sure that once we do get into our comment area, because there's so many, I would appreciate that you let me know now if you want to give a slip, and not later on, because it's going to just be dragging on a little too long. And we want to make sure that we give everybody an opportunity. Thank you. Okay, so I guess we'll start with public comments from Mr. Mohammed Asyad. And that's what you get, Mohammed, for giving it late.
Good evening, councilmen and council ladies, audience. Tonight, I'd like to approach the council about the safety and, the police, lack of police force in our city. I feel it is unsafe these days, especially the weekend. We have shortage, and we have come to know that Calexico have a problem with officers on duty. El Centro has over 50 officers, and we have almost like 30 officers here. And I think Last weekend, I have incidents myself. You know, my son was missing for 2 days, and I had to do, the police work because I can understand 3 officers on duty on the weekend. I don't think this is, healthy for Calexico. And, it's not a happy experience. And we brought it up to the councilman before that we do need to look for some solution to our border town. And I think we've been putting it off, for many, many, years. So I would appreciate if the council really consider looking into funds to help the officers, because the officers are putting their lines. I know there's cuts, but we need to address this issue, especially with the safety of minors in schools. We can't even send, officer to school during lunch, whereas there's a lot of drug going around. The other day, I encountered 2 kids at 10:30 going, without knowing the school what's going on. So I think this is an issue, it's very serious, and I would appreciate from the council really to put it on the agenda and discuss it, because not enough that we have to deal with Mexicali problem, but with our own safety here too. We have a lot of shoppers coming in, and I think this is a very serious issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Asiad. Next public comments is from Maria Guzman.
Maria, I would tell them who's on deck. Who's on deck? Who's on deck?
Okay.
Coming up after this person. That's good.
Thank you.
Who's on first?
Yeah.
Mr. Javier Gonzalez, you're going to be next, so just so you could be ready, okay?
Buenas tardes. Buenas tardes, señora alcaldesa y a la mesa directiva. Soy María Guzmán. Tengo viviendo en Calexico exactamente 55 años. Varios de ustedes me conocen. Mi opinión es que por qué razón, si nosotros votamos por las personas que nosotros pensamos y queremos que estén a servicio de nosotros, lo que ellos están ofreciendo, ¿por qué en contra de ellos si ya el voto se dio de que ellos eran los que iban a estar representando? Como cuando el señor Castro es un ejemplo. Porque no respetan el voto de nosotros, porque no respetan lo que el pueblo dice, lo que el pueblo vota, lo que el pueblo quiere. No por una persona de ustedes. Digan, no, pues este señor, pues no porque pues está moreno, no porque este señor que porque no sabe inglés, no que este señor, digo yo, ¿por qué si el pueblo lo escogimos, el pueblo lo pusimos? ¿Por qué ustedes lo quieren quitar? ¿Por qué no nos respetan nuestra opinión y nuestro voto? Esa es la única razón por la que yo quise hablar, para decirle que por qué son tan irresponsables y que es una vergüenza que por ustedes que quieren salirse con la suya, ya sea por cualquier razón, traigan hasta criaturas aquí, menores de edad, que nomás los trajeron. ¿Por qué? Porque vete a cargar ese cartelón. Ellos ni saben si está bien o está mal, pero los traen. Y qué vergüenza que traigan criaturas chiquitas aquí a arreglar cosas de personas mayores. Esa es mi opinión, señora.
Gracias, señora. Mr. Javier Gonzalez, and you have comments on
Honorable Council, Honorable Mayor, Council
public from the community.
members, my name is Javier Gonzalez. I'm here representing the Kennedy Gardens Neighborhood Watch and Resident Council. They gave me permission to speak. Kennedy Gardens Neighborhood Watch and Resident Council has been an active group for over 20 years. We started the boxing program lately. We started painting and taking care of our neighborhood. Sooner, within a month, you're going to see that Kennedy Gardens will be the safest and cleanest neighborhood in Kennedy Gardens. The reason I'm here for is the chief selection process. We've been working with the police department for a long time. Whoever is the chief, we don't care. What we want is the process to be respected. There's 5 people up there. The people elected you. I see signs over there that said that the people did not vote for Mr. Kim. Obviously, they did because he's up here. I mean, I don't want to speak in favor. I just want to say there's 5 people. We're waiting What we were here for is waiting for the management, the city, the manager, to tell us the process. If the process was fair, because they're the only ones that can say who's qualified or not. Not a commissioner, not me, not a councilman. There was a process. They screen out the candidates, and if he says the process was fair, I support whatever the council says. Whoever you select, we will respect, and we will not accuse you of corruption like all those signs. Whoever you select, we respect. As long as Mr. Rodriguez says that the process was fair, they screen out all the candidates, and we're ready for a new chief. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Next speaker is Mr. Jaime Jimenez.
Who's on deck? Who's on deck?
Oh, and Vicente Cuevas, you're next.
Good afternoon, members of the council. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jaime Jimenez. I'm a resident of Calexico. My address is 5 Palm Drive. I have no political inclinations. I'm in no favor of any party. I'm just a resident of Calexico. But I've been watching over the social networks a discussion that really caught my eye. And I decided to investigate a little bit on this, which is the removal of the commission, of the Calexico Police Advisory Commission. I see that in other cities, this type of commission, they receive the complaints of the citizens on the police department. They also overlook the administration, and they try to keep the police the police department walking straight. So when I decided to go and find out what was the position of the police department, well, I find the position of the Police Officers Association. And I went and investigated a little more, and one thing that caught my attention again was that they're doing politics. And doing politics, carrying guns, and being in a position of power, I don't think is a good idea. Because those three words reminds me of dictatorships, and I think we live in America. So we need to get away from that. We need to keep the guys with the guns and in a position of power, because the people here give them the powers to keep us safe. We need to keep them away from politics. Let's do a little review, 4 points only, short points of what I discovered just recently. Number one, they play politics and take a city council member out of the board, because Mr. Daniel Romero was running, and they got into politics. They spent money to discredit Daniel Romero and on his political campaign. And I don't remember seeing anybody other of the candidates discrediting Mr. Daniel Romero. But I remember seeing some signs on the street doing that, and it was signed by the Police Association. Number two, they pressured the chief of police to quit, because they wrote a letter of no confidence, and so the chief decided to quit or to leave his position, right? Now, third, they play politics again and team up with some apparently council members to cancel the Calexico Police Advisory Commission. And why do they want to do this? It could be that they want to name their own boss and supervisor, so they can do whatever they want to and be not accountable to anybody but their own family.
You have 30 seconds, Mr. Jimenez.
Well, I'll finish with that. That is a question, and that's my point of view. I may be right or I may be wrong, but I think that everybody needs to think and sit and investigate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jimenez. Mr. Cuevas? And after Mr. Cuevas will be Mr. Luis Fuentes, please. You're on deck, Mr. Fuentes. Where are you?
Right here.
Go ahead.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Dear City Council, I come to you today to discuss the present monopoly of the city bus system by the CoCLX Transit System. First of all, the present bus system in the city is dilapidated and unsafe for senior citizens. There is no air conditioning, and seniors are made to walk too many blocks to the Salud de Pueblo Health Center. Why, even the buses in Mexicali are better than these buses. I am concerned that a city council member named Luis Castro sits on the city council and has a definite conflict of interest. Again and again, he makes decisions and espouses his hidden agenda item of CoCLX Transit System. It's time we had another bus system to provide service for intercity bus travel. Why, even though Central has 2 intercity bus services, and Brawley is coming on board in August with an intercity bus service. Why is CoCLX always behind the times of bus service in the city? Please reconsider the bus service for CoCLX. We need the competition. And I want to make another statement on the fact that I did a survey of 22 senior citizens that I was able to talk to, and 19 of them were for alternative bus services, because there's no air conditioning on the CoCLX Transit System. Of the 22. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cuevas. Mr. Fuentes, you are next, but Norma Aguilar, you'll be after him, okay?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor. Let
Good
me start my stopwatch, because I was a big advocate of 3 minutes. Council members, city manager, city attorney. I felt the need to kind of write my name there and come up, and you know I only do that when it's in my gut. But I think out of respect for, not to put you on the spot, but I want to put you on the spot. Out of respect for those that are here today, I think the proper procedure is for you to call item 12, move it up on the agenda, and then someone has to take a vote to either table it or discuss it some other time, and you need to take a vote on that. Not just eliminate it from the agenda. Sometimes you might get legal advice, and no offense, Jennifer, but we didn't elect legal advice or the city attorney. We elected you as council members. So sometimes you need to take recommendations, but follow what's right and what's just. And in this case, if you don't want to discuss it, at least show the courtesy to those that are here to bring it up and vote to table it, or to move it forward some other time, but do it that way. I think that's the proper and the most just and the democratic way, and I would just certainly ask for you to do that. I want to say it in Spanish because I've got like a minute and a half. Le pedí al concilio que, al respeto al tiempo de las personas que estamos aquí, que la manera correcta de no hablar o hablar del artículo 12 para la selección del jefe de la policía es realmente mover ese artículo y tomar una decisión a o no hablar de él o moverlo para otra reunión, pero tomar un voto. ¿Alguien de ellos? Porque elegimos a ellos, no elegimos a la abogada, ni no elegimos a ellos. Alguien debe tomar esa propuesta y decir, no quiero hablar de él, ¿quién me sigue? Y tomar el voto o cambiarla a otro día. Creo que eso es lo correcto, lo democrático y lo que ellos siempre han dicho que son justos y democráticos. Y pues creo que nos merecemos ese respeto y nada más esa es la petición para ellos. Gracias.
Thank you, Mr. Fuentes. Really appreciate that. Norma Aguilar, and next will be Mr. Eddie Guzman. Go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Norma Aguilar. I live in Calexico, California. I have a couple of points. One of the things that we see here, on both sides of the topics, is a request for transparency from the City Council. I also add my voice to that and respect the right of people having opposing feelings or views. But my point is this: why wasn't there a citizen representative on the panel for the review of the candidates? According to Local Ordinance 2.19, members of the committees, boards, etc. must be residents or employees. That's one point. Another point is, according to your own agenda, which stipulates what kind of topics that can be commented on. Item 12 appears as an action item. And yes, now we hear that there is not going to be, or appears that there might not be action on number 12, yet it doesn't appear in closed session. Why is it that you do not list it? Let me share with you that I sit on a board, this Calexico School Board. And when you have an item that you're going to discuss, if you're going to hire someone, you list it, you cite the law. That's why you have your attorney here. And again, no disrespect, but that's what you have your attorney for, to watch out for you. It's not enough to list it under a vague item. Secondly, well, finally, I'll close with this. I was here at the last meeting where you had apparently, possibly, discussion about this when Mr. Moreno and Madam Mayor Hurtado walked out, and three council members stayed here. And to my knowledge, I wasn't here. I would imagine that you called the meeting to order. The meeting was never adjourned. So as of now, your last meeting is still open. Is this how we run our city? Thank you.
Mr. Guzman, your subject is the police chief. And after him is Mr. Tony Tirado.
Good evening. My name is Eddie Guzman at 344 East 3rd Street. Thank you for allowing me, Mayor Pro Tem Hodge, and council members. I concur with Mrs. Norma here. We were probably until 9 o'clock that night. And if I can recall, and somebody recalls me, that our city attorney opened the door after Maritza and Mayor Moreno left. She told us that the decision was made. Next council meeting on Tuesday, we'll give you the results. We cannot say right now. And that's what we were here for. That's what we're all here for, I think. And I think we're kind of misleading the public because we're anxious to find out. Whoever it is, we want to know. And everybody is the talk of town. Again, only in Calexico. I tried to get a newspaper and they were all gone because we had news from Calexico. Wow. We sold out the paper, the newspaper. And, I left Calexico to another state, and it's very unique. I love my people here. Maritza and Mr. Moreno, we're like brothers and sisters back in the old days, And I just love this Calexico. I love the people, and I hate to have a division like this, It's just, I thought it would change someday, but my gosh, I see it as the same way, It just keeps dividing and dividing, and this goes on to generations, to our kids, They grow up and they see these things, and they see it as very normal for this town. Only in Calexico, it just keeps... They took the word only in Calexico the wrong way instead of the right way. So please, I ask that you make your decision and tell us, and like Mr. Fuentes has told us, I concur with him. Let us know, and if you want to discuss on it later on, that's fine. Whoever it is, I'm in favor of whatever your decision was. And I think you ordered a panel, you ordered respectable people from all over the county, including the district attorney, and you heard and they qualify the right man. Well, let's do it. What are we waiting for? We're just waiting for the people to vote on it, then you should have started that way from the beginning. Thank you very much.
Mr. Tirado, your subject is the police chief, and after you will be Mr. Daniel Romero, our former mayor.
Tony Tirado, 809 Beach Avenue, Calexico. Madam Mayor, gentlemen of the City Council, staff, people of Calexico. to me, you have a city ordinance. If you follow the city ordinance, you wouldn't have this commotion. Okay, number one, okay, I want to blame all 5 of you. To me, it's just getting into the business as a city manager, micromanagement, okay? The city ordinance specifies very clearly that the city manager is responsible for the police chief and the fire chief, period, okay? So to me, if I leave it up to the city manager, then he selects a committee, they hire the police chief, and tomorrow, that's a bad chief, then I can fire the city manager. In this case, you people came in, took over that micromanagement, okay, and you brought in good people. Don't get me wrong with that, but you're doing the job as the city manager's job. Okay, so in other words, tomorrow you hire somebody, in 3 weeks or whatever you fire that person. Then who should get fired? You people should get fired. Don't get into the business of micromanagement. Let the manager do his job. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tirado. Mr. Romero. And after Mr. Romero is Mr. John Romo. And Mr. Romero, just before you start, you have for number 11 and 12, so when we come up to number 11, I'll be calling you on number 11 as well.
Yes. To begin with, as former council member and former mayor, to former council member and former mayor Luis Fuentes, I've always held the highest esteem for you during the council meetings, but you yourself have been involved with pulling items during council meetings. So this is the process that we as citizens do not get privy of information on why the council, city manager, or whoever else pulled this item. And again, I say it with all the utmost respect. Mr. Tirado, thank you for bringing up the issue on the comment about the city manager making a decision. That's the only thing that's been popping in my mind this last weekend. City council, this is not your business. This is the issue of the city manager who was hired to do his job, just like he hired Director Servin, how he hired Director Quinn to do the jobs that they were hired to do because they were already referred to as professionals in the respective field. If the council members select a panel, and mind you, the panel consisted of, yes, 2 persons in law enforcement in their own respective fields, but 3 members that not only are not in law enforcement, but also not even in the level of administrators. This is an issue that the city manager alone should address, give him the direction to get it done, panel or not, but for him to get it done and for him to bring it before the next council meeting to his recommendation who that chief should be. Now, we bring in a panel, besides the 2 law enforcers, persons that have one who's an employee of the department, more so the leader of the CPOA. I'll say it's irresponsible. You have to put people in who are accustomed to making administrative decisions to make these kind of administrative decision. Anyway, city manager, you have obviously staked your neck out for Finance Director Quinn and for Public Works Director Servin. They both have done a very admirable job, and I have no question in your ability to select the next city chief of police under your direction and only under your direction, and not let politics play a role in this thing. Because if it does, you're going to open a Pandora's box, and you're going to have situations surface that you're going to have no control over. Why? Because like Mr. Tirado mentioned a moment ago, you're going to be exposed to the one being fired instead of addressing addressing it with the chief of police. Thank you.
Mr. Romo.
Good evening, members of the City Council, Madam Mayor, and members of the public. I'm not here to I'm just here to actually thank the whole city council and Mr. Peter Mercado with the fire department for his decent follow-up to contact me after I came to you as members. I don't recall whether it was last month or 2 months ago, but he did call me. He was very decent, and he's also a very capable man. Nonetheless, we did concur with a day to meet. However, he did tell me that the city manager would be coming over the weekend. So I says, well, I have to wait for him. And so I did. So, and I thank Mr. Rodriguez too. We also set up a date, and based on you in that direction, I believe it was you, Mr. Hodge. So based on that, I am going to meet with Mr. Rodriguez, and Mr. Rodriguez, feel free, if you don't have the time, please give me a call, and if I don't have the time, I'll give you a call. You know, we're both busy. I believe we have a meeting set up on the 9th.
Yeah, we do. We're good to go.
Yeah. And on another note, I just, for lack of reasons or maybe lack of information, I don't see the reasons why to eliminate the police commission. All of a sudden, the people have all the right. People elected you. They're your constituents. And, I mean, you owe them this. But at the same time, you eliminate the police commission, then all the complaints are going to come to you. And so the police commission only does certain recommendations. Plus, I read it, and there's quarterly reports to be made from the police commission. So, having said that, I just don't see the point of eliminating the police commission. They might listen to concerns. I don't think they can take any action, but I think they would act in their best interest, all 5 of them. And so I'm all for having the police commission, and that's all I gotta say. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Romo. Okay, gentlemen, I want to ask if you want to take into consideration what Mr. Fuentes is suggesting, that we look at item number 11 and 12 in consideration that the majority of the public here is here for item 11 and 12. Would you like to move up items 11 and 12 up now before we move into the consent agenda? Is that possible to do, Ms. Lyons?
Absolutely. It's up to the council.
Okay, would you like to do that?
I'd like to move that items 11 and 12 be moved up above the consent agenda.
I filled out a form to speak.
I know, I have many forms still, Mr.
Item number 12.
That's why we're trying to figure out here if we want to move it up. Okay. Would you like to do that, gentlemen? To go ahead and consider the fact that the public is here and that they are the majority here, right? For 11 and 12, and that we go ahead and move that item up before consent agenda, because in consent agenda, we could be here for a while.
Madam Mayor, I made a motion to move those up prior to the consent agenda.
Okay, do I have a
will
second?
second that, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Let's go ahead and vote on that we go ahead and move our items 11 and 12 to before consent agenda. Please vote.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that direction. Can you repeat that?
What we would like to do is ask if you would be interested in moving items 11 and 12 previous to the consent agenda, because that's where we're at right now. We're at consent agenda. I still have a lot of speakers, but the majority of these speakers are asking to speak on 11 and 12. So what we're asking is that if we move 11 and 12 right now so that the public that's here for the items can have the opportunity to discuss, and they don't have to wait through the whole rest of our agenda. And that's what we're voting on. We already have 3 votes up there, so. Thank you. Mr. Kim, would you like to place your vote?
If I vote, I'm going to have a heart attack.
Thank you. Okay, so what we're going to do then is we're going to move business items number 11 up now. Item number 11 under business items is discussion and direction on elimination of the Calexico Police Advisory Commission requested by Councilman Castro and Councilman Kim. This item, what we usually do, just for those that haven't been here that often, is we're going to allow you guys to speak, and then we'll have discussion as a council after you speak. Once the council is in discussion, then there's no longer any more slips. So this is it, okay? So I will allow you guys to come up here and have one more opportunity right before we start, but if when I'm already here and we're already beyond that, we won't be going back, okay? Okay, so next speaker is Mr. Daniel Romero. On item number 11, discussion and or direction on elimination of the Calexico Police Advisory Commission requested by Councilman Castro and Councilman Kim. And after Mr. Romero is Rudy Alarcon.
Mayor, before I begin here, the other comments were under public comments, so if you're going to discuss item 12, I'll be calling again, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Daniel Romero, 800 Holdridge Street. I was crossing my fingers, hoping has not been really a better option these days with this council as a whole, that this item would have been removed by council members Castro and Kim, since they are the two that requested for this item to be on the agenda, to not proceed further with this issue. By these two council members opting to move forward in disbanding, eliminating this commission, it first reflects that CCM Kim's appointee has not been sufficiently productive to Mr. Kim's standards within such a short period of time of his appointment, and thus decides it's better to get rid of this commission instead of replacing him or her. With CCM Castro, it reflects that his appointee was not able to get his way, considering he is likely the most tenured member of this advisory commission, I guess not sufficiently successful in getting support from the other appointee to play ball. The Police Advisory Commission, with advisory being the key word, was created for different purposes, but none more important than for the citizens to have an access, a direct connection, if you will, with the Chief of Police and the Police Department as a whole to simply have an opportunity to share respective concerns on police matters. As a commission with appointees made by council members, it serves both as an extension of the council members to the citizens, as well as the citizens to its council members. The commission is set up to promote the opportunity for the citizenry to share their concerns on police matters for those who are unwilling, for their own reasons, to meet face-to-face with the chief, and with this avenue kind of furnishes a person to have witnesses when the concerns are shared. Mr. Hodge, during your term, you have mentioned many times over to your council meetings about democratic process. I will not question CCM Castro's or CCM Kim's position on this because they have placed this on the agenda. I will not question Mayor Hurtado's nor Councilman Moreno's on their position. I strongly believe, unless they show differently in their vote, that they are not in favor of this. Unless I look at you, many are looking at you on your position, because from the public's point of view, which I didn't know this was going to happen, it's a 2-2 tie, and you offer the deciding vote. You are alone on an island here. You can vote to disband it, and the citizens will remember you as a deciding vote to shoot this commission down. You can vote to keep it, and the citizens will remember because of you, this commission still has some life. Remember that these members are or were an extension of each of you that made these appointments. Before the election of June 2010, at least one member of the council sought to disband the Heffernan Memorial District. Thank goodness his efforts were derailed. His efforts did not improve Heffernan's ways. It was already in motion. It just happened to be that it was because of his push, and it wasn't, and I can assure you.
15 seconds, Mr. Romero.
Same way with the Police Advisory Commission. They have already been changing the betterment of the primary purpose of its existence, its creation. Or is it because council members hope to eliminate it to remove other concerns that may surface from here on? Thank you, Mayor Hurtado, Mayor Pro Tem Hodge, and rest of the council.
Thank you, Mr. Romero. Mr. Alarcon, you're next.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Rudy Alarcon, Calexico Police Officers Association. Although I don't have a rehearsed speech or written by someone else for me, I'll speak from my heart. The Police Commission was formed in the 70s. From the research that I've conducted, it was because there was distrust amongst the council, the citizens, and the police officers. I don't think that's the case nowadays. These people were elected by the citizens of Calexico. If they didn't trust them, they wouldn't be up here representing every single one of us. Unfortunately, this new commission that has been put together has gone out on a witch hunt, soliciting the community to speak up against the police. And yes, if the police is being conducting improperly, that should be done. But when you're inciting people to do that, it seems like you're forming an anti-government campaign. And that's not what we're about. We live in the United States. We're a democracy. So maybe we should be looking at the reputation of those people that are appointed to the police commission. I believe that's a very sensitive position to hold. In order for you to be a police officer, you have to conduct psychological background, criminal background, and even a polygraph. What does it take to be a police commissioner? To be a friend, to swear an alliance to destroy a union, a labor union whose job it is to represent every single one of their fellow employees. So I ask you to be open-minded. Take a look. Unfortunately, there's people conducting Facebook wars. Consider the facts. These things are being done by anonymous people. I know someone earlier said they conducted an investigation and determined that the CPOA had issues. The investigation you conducted is you're gathering information from anonymous people. So you should consider the source. Thank you very much.
Okay, next speaker is Marco Maeda on the elimination of the police commission. And after him will be John Romo.
Hello, greetings to the citizens of Calexico. My name is Marco Maeda. I live in Calexico at 1092 Harrington Street. I grew up here. I've been here for 50 years. I've recently started listening to all the violence and injustice from our police department instead of fairness and justice. So I told myself that the city mayor and the city councilman have set a time and a place for everything. But it just doesn't make sense anymore. We were meant to enjoy our lives and the future here in Calexico, but instead, I've looked and saw citizens being mistreated everywhere here in the city, rich or poor citizens, keep being harassed by certain police officers. And now, to me, it seems certain council members are joining them in the fun. My dad always told me that it's better to be wise than to be a foolish politician who won't listen to advice from the people.
Mr. Maeda, do you mind getting a little closer to the...
City councilmen and women, don't talk before you think or make promises to the citizens of Calexico without thinking them through. It is better not to make a promise at all than to make one and not keep it. Don't let your mouth get you in trouble. Respect and obey the citizens. City councilmen, don't be surprised if the old, the poor, and the innocent citizens are abused and injustice takes the place of justice. After all, the lower the officials must do what the higher ones order them to do. Remember, if you love money and wealth, you will never be satisfied with what you have. I have seen something terribly unfair today with the police commissioners, by the POA president, by Castro, and by Mr. Kim. Remember, God may give you everything you want, money, property, and wealth, but God will also not let you enjoy it. How can you allow all the corruption that's going on with the police officers? You know, there's been issues about a certain police officer, or actually 3 officers, committing rape to a girl in San Diego. Why haven't you guys mentioned that? Whatever happened to that? How about the sergeant, intoxicated, goes over to another officer's house and hits him over the head? Why didn't you guys make an issue of that? What about when one of the officers actually was chasing Frankie Zuno, a 19-year-old, and they drove up into my driveway. Frankie Zuno lifted up his hand saying, "Mr. Maeda, I don't have anything, and they still shot him in the back with the taser gun. Why wasn't that reported in the paper? So, I don't know. And then, worst of all, we as citizens, we have to listen to the POA president. Well, he's the one that's being investigated, well, he was the one being accused of rape in San Diego. What happened to that? Why is he talking here? So is this what you really want, citizens from Calexico? Let's get our city back, support our local council members, and say no to getting rid of the police commissioners. That's all I have to say today. Thank you.
Okay, just want to remind everybody, let's keep it clean. Go ahead, Mr. Romo, you're next. And right after him will be Maribel Padilla.
Good evening again. Same, for the record, same name, John Romo, President of Calexico. I already said about the police commission, but I'm going to add up a little bit more. I see a lot of concerns. I'm not here to be disrespectful to anyone. I don't want anyone to be disrespectful to me. I want to address issues as they are because they pertain to elections. They pertain to the constituents of this, our city. And I'm getting basically annoyed at all these things that, yes, we're always going to have problems. And on one comment, I don't want to be disrespected. There's a lot of stuff going on in the city that, that needs to be addressed, either at city level, administration level, which I don't believe in micromanaging either, either at administration level, or maybe perhaps people feel more comfortable in having a police commission. Whatever the reasons may be, I'm not here on a political basis. I don't want to offend anyone, and I don't want anybody to offend me. So I am perplexed as first, and I have to mention your name, Mr. Castro and Mr. Kim. You are on the agenda to remove the police commission. Now, based on people that wanted me to put an application for a police commissioner, which I didn't really want. Whomever you choose, I really don't care, but I really don't want it. I don't see you putting up a line item to eliminate the police commission and then having to have an appointment. I mean, and it's just not there. Another note, I'm not here to induce, incite anyone to go to the police commission and be detrimental to the police commissioner. I mean, to the police commissioner or the police department. Recently, my house was broken into, was robbed, and I believe that the police are doing a great job. There's some rotten apples always in every city, okay? And I'm not saying the police department. I say I was gonna be decent. It's the concept of representing. It's a concept of helping each other. It's a concept of community activities. Without the police, we're lost. Without the city, we're lost. You know, why can't we work all together? I'm not inducing, inciting anyone to go to the police commission and be detrimental to any police officer or the police department. I'm not inducing or inciting anyone to be disrespectful to the city council. I'm not inducing or inciting to be disrespectful anyone in any department.
Thank you, Mr. Romo. We're out of time.
All right.
Sorry about that.
I just don't see this.
Appreciate your help.
Thank
appreciate your comments. Okay, next speaker is Maribel Padilla, and after her will be Marianne Villalobos.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Maribel Padilla, and I've lived in Calexico for 41 years. I'm also the 2013 Mardi Gras Queen and proud of it, just like I'm proud of this city. What I am not proud of is some of the members that make up this council and their decisions. I am offended that you think so little of your citizens that you can think you can hold secretive meetings, make decisions without the citizens being involved. Because that is what you did when you denied access to the police commission when they asked to be part of the hiring panel. But yet Councilman Hodge was quick to appoint the CPOA to the panel. Councilman Castro and Kim, you now have the bright idea to dissolve the commission. Councilman Castro, you stated in the Ivy Press, I believe the police commission is ineffective. I don't think they are doing anything for the needs of the community. Councilman Castro, I and half of this packed room have news for you. We think you, sir, are not effective for this community. We know that for a fact Councilman Kim not effective at all since he can't vote on any matter that conflicts with the school board. And he is of no use to the school board either. I vote to disband both of you, or even better, start a recall, since that is one right you cannot take away from me as a voter. On a side note, the meeting of April 10th, which I watched in its entirety, you, Councilman Castro, have the nerve to be on your cell phone while the meeting is on. I don't think that is very effective, or is it? Now you, Councilman Kim, not once were you insulted by any council member, but you turned around and called the mayor a dictator, and not once, but twice, you called her Miss Queen. Well, I'm here to tell you, the next time Miss Queen comes out of your mouth, you, sir, better be addressing yourself to me. I am the queen. I am effective. On another note, Mr. CPOA, you just had a comment about my children being here. I am their mother. I am in charge of them. They are juveniles, but they're mine. When you start paying child support, you can tell me something. Yes, right. You didn't make the comment. I heard you. For the lady in the back that had a
Maribel, you need to address yourself to us. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I will take it later with that lady over there, because she talked about my kids. Okay, I am done. Thank you.
Is that it? Okay. Thank you, Ms. Padilla. Thank you very much. Love the crown. Okay, next speaker is Marianne Villalobos, and I'm not going to take any more slips, sir. I'm sorry, I told you that in the beginning. No, sir. I'm sorry, sir, but I did lay down the rules of this decorum, and I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, Tiger. I'm sorry, Tiger. Very sorry. Okay, next speaker. I gave you plenty of time, sir. Next speaker is Marianne Villalobos, please. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Isn't it? Oh. It's allowed. Look it up. Look it up.
Okay, I need some respect for for this council chambers, please. Okay, everyone's going to have an opportunity to speak, and she's been given the minutes belonging to someone else, and we've done that before, sir. So we need to provide that opportunity to this citizen.
Transparency. What is the definition of transparency? To me, a citizen of a great country, I have always believed that transparency is when our government process is fair and open. Our rights as citizens should not be terminated on the easy one-swipe decision of a city council. Our rights given to us from our Constitution, which also give us the freedom to speak as we are doing here today. I'm here to tell you that transparency should be simple to accomplish, which is, why is transparency an issue? Why do we have to come here before you to ask for transparency? We have seen and read too much to turn our heads. We know more now only because the steps that have been taken by this council shows an unorganized and misleading process. Besides the fact that it appears you just don't care about us. Now that you need to hire a new chief, why did you reject the police commissioner's request to be in the process? Is there something to hide? It makes no sense at all. This is the main purpose of a police commission, is for public involvement with our police department. By the way, every city in California has a police commission. I'm sure you all know this. And now, right after you reject them, now you want to disband them? Why? Were they too concerned about the recent hiring process? Was the heat that bad that you decide to get rid of them now? You call that transparency? We as a community require a police commission in this city. This city is in the border with two ports of entry, and we have an international airport. This is not a sleepy town anymore. We are involved and want to continue to be involved because it is important to us. This community is ours. We are the people. We demand an open, fair, and transparent government. If you want to remove the police commissioners, then you will be removing the rights as citizens of Calexico to do their job, as it has been for over 30 years. You will silence the community by removing the only means in which we ensure government accountability. What does transparency mean to you? Censoring the public is not the way to do it. I really thought you had my back, but I'm glad I woke up and realized you're stabbing me in the back. Sincerely, your faithful voters.
Okay, this is going to be the last two speakers. Then we'll have Ms. Patty Moreno and Mr. Joe Moreno. So
Where's
Ms.
my
Patty
card,
Moreno, you're
Madam
next,
Mayor?
please.
Madam Mayor,
I'm
where's
sorry,
my card?
sir. I've already mentioned to you several times. And that
It's a
this,
democracy here. It is a democracy. It is a democracy.
Ms.
We've
Patty
done it in,
Moreno,
we've
did you
done
wanna
it
come up
in the
now?
past.
Ma'am, you need to sit down. Usted se necesita, señora. Gracias. Sí, señora. ¿Está escuchando? Gracias.
Vic. We put in our card. We put in our card. We need to speak. We put in our card.
Okay, we're going to have a recess. Vamos a descansar unos 5 minutitos porque como esta es una junta de negocios. Dispense, señora. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take about a 5-minute break just to let everybody relax. This is a business meeting and we're trying to conduct business. And just so you could remember, Tiger, you want everybody to follow rules. That's my rule. And this is the council chambers and we need to do that.
Madam Mayor, we've done this in the past.
Okay, in consultation with our attorney, I'm going to go ahead and allow you, Tiger, Mr. Casillas, to go ahead and have your 3 minutes. And I would like for you to be able to just be a little respectful and not interrupt the proceeding, because when you do that, that's not comfortable for me either, because you have other people that are trying to speak too, okay? So if you'd like to go ahead,
Sounds like a deal, no?
go ahead.
Now that you killed all my...
Did I kill your inspiration? I'm sorry. I apologize. Happens to me all the time.
Couple points. Well, the first point, it is a democracy still. And we consulted our attorneys as well, Madam Mayor, so I knew I was going to get up here and speak. But anyways, the first point, sir, Mr. Alarcón there, that's called slander. He did not get arrested for rape. There is no rape charges. That's something that you get on Facebook.
Mr. Casillas, you need to direct yourself to the council.
Well, he directed it to everyone else.
Just as I told him that he
okay?
needs to direct himself. I'm
Well,
telling you the
there it
same
is. He's free to get a public records check, a criminal report, or anything of that nature to make sure that if he feels that's what he needs to do. But the truth of the matter is that no one was arrested for rape. The second point is, I don't know if you guys are aware or not, but we are a union, just like every other union out there, just like the Teamsters,
Mr.
just like the
Alarcón, could you,
SEIU,
I
just
believe
like
we're on item number
USCW.
11. We're on discussion and direction on the elimination. I believe your comments are going to be on that one item, please.
Everyone's speaking about something else, but you allow them, all of a sudden, you want to police me. Okay?
Go ahead, Mr. Casillas, go ahead.
Thank you very much. I just want to clear some points that you let everyone else hear.
But I would appreciate if you did stick to the agenda item.
I'm going to get
Please.
to item 11. We are a bargaining unit, and we are allowed by law to politic. It is allowed. Just like that is our First Amendment, just like every other bargaining unit. USCW, the Teamsters, SEIU, and everyone else. That is a right that's afforded to us by the Constitution. So we can't do that. Third of all, here, I don't know, you know, this whole commissioners, you really got to look at these commissioners because they have a little questionable background themselves. You got one commissioner.
Just like I asked him to stay clean, stay clean.
You got one commissioner.
Please stay clean.
You got one. Well, you didn't do that when they were accusing Mr. Alarcon of rape. You didn't do that then. Well, you got one commissioner that lives off the city, retired from the city, collects a paycheck from the city, lives in a city-owned property that owes $110,000 when the home is worth $40,000. The city owns his home, the city pays him, and he works for the school district, who Mr. Moreno gave him a job. And you want to talk about transparency? You got another guy who's got a case that reads like a horror movie. The other commissioner out of Imperial has a horror movie. Attacked a female on duty, groped her,
Mr.
grabbed
Casillas, could you please stay clean?
arrested her.
Please stay clean.
She cried for help. She cried for help. As she was crying for help and the daughter came down to try to help her, guess what? He arrested both of those females and attacked her as well. There's a federal lawsuit against the city of Imperial.
Mr. Casillas.
No, well, it's okay. It's okay for you guys to throw mud. If you guys are going to throw mud, let's throw mud. Here we go.
I believe that the council is asking that your time is up.
Mike.
No, I'm sorry. This came from Mr. Hodge. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Romero. I mean, sorry, Mr. Romo. We have a council.
We have, point of order, Madam Mayor. We need to conduct business here.
Yes.
And we need to stop insulting, we need to stop innuendo, and we need to address item 11.
Well, item
Let's
11
do that, please.
Item 11 is the commissioners. I
Right.
think they have questionable backgrounds, and we should conduct backgrounds on them themselves.
Excuse me, Mr. Casillas. Item 11 is the dismantling, the disbanding
And
of
that's
the
why I
police
think they
commission.
should be
It doesn't
dismantled
have
because they
anything
have
to-
questionable backgrounds.
Madam Mayor, point of order, I'm speaking, he's speaking over me. Well, I've stopped the clock. I've stopped the clock because I'm trying to get this place in. Mr. Alarcon, please. Mr. Alarcon, please.
Mr.
I have not. I'm trying to restore order, and let's address the business at hand, which has gotten out of hand.
Thank you,
The
Mr.
item
Mayor.
on the agenda is the dismantling or the disbanding of the police commission. There's nothing there that talks about the backgrounds of the police commissioners. I'm sorry, that is not on the agenda. So let's just get back to it, please, Madam Mayor. With all due respect.
Thank you, and I believe that your time is up, Mr. Casillas. Is this time?
We are.
He has 20 seconds. I've been stopping and starting it because
We
he's
are
been
in
interrupting.
support of that item due to the fact that these individuals need to have a thorough background before they take on a position of police commissioners. Thank you.
Okay, here we go. Thank you, Mr. Casillas, and thank you for your patience. Okay, next item is also on the dissolution. You also want to speak as well? Oh, here we go. Opened up a can of worms. No, yes, we gave it to him. Okay, this is it. Just this gentleman and these two, and that's it. Okay. Okay, but not you yet. Not you yet. But give it to me.
Give it to Joe.
Okay, we're going to finish now with the original lineup, which is Ms. Patty Moreno. You're next. Patty Moreno?
Joe.
I'm sorry, Mr. Bielma, we're going to continue with the lineup. No, I'm telling you, Patty, you're next. Okay. Please, I'm not going to have that kind of, no.
Ms. Hurtado, she already gave up 3 minutes already.
Yes, it's 3 minutes. It hasn't started, Mr. Kim.
Yes, Marisa Hurtado.
We need to give her 3 minutes that
She
she's
already gave
taking
her 3
from.
minutes.
Right.
Brown
What-
Act
what we do is that,
violations.
I'm sorry, let me explain real quick. There's a process where when other citizens would like to give up their 3 minutes, they fill out a form, and when their
Yes,
time
she
is
already
up,
gave it to
then
them.
they give the 3 minutes to whoever speaker they would like. We've done that before. That has been
Councilman
past
Kim,
practice.
it is allowable. You may not like it.
I know, but she already gave
But
it to
it
her
is
3
allowable.
minutes. No, she already gave it to the 3 minutes.
Go ahead, Ms. Padilla.
Brown Act violations. I am here today to express my opinion about the way the council has taken the steps to find a new police chief. The reasons why the last police chief left is still unknown to all of us. Was there a decision made in closed session about the last chief? Now we have to find a new chief, and again, all of the decisions are being made in closed session. I can't believe you even made the decision to reject the police commission so that they did not have any part of your secret meeting. Calexico has an organizational chart, and the people are on top of that chart. Now the council, not the employees, not the administration. It's the people who are the most important part of the organization.
I wasn't paying attention. You want to wait until the other item, because since you didn't put on your thing here what item you were talking about, you said dissolution of police commission. You want to go ahead and wait till we're on item number 12 on the one that you're just reading now?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay. Okay, sorry about that. Next speaker is Joe Moreno. Okay, we'll do that. Next speaker is Mr. Joe Bielma, and that's still on item number 11. And just to repeat, it's the discussion and the direction of the elimination of the Calexico Police Advisory Commission requested by Councilman Castro and Councilman Kim.
Good
Mr.
evening,
Bielma.
Council. My name is Joe Bielma. I'm one of the police commissioners. I just can't believe the kind of attitude and what we just experienced today. This is the reason why I decided to be on this police commission, because it's this kind of behavior we got to stop. They're just total out of control. Again, they have no respect for anybody. And this is, at this point, I just see that they're just out of control. It seems like even the police chief has his hands tied at this point. Who is going to put a stop to this? It's just getting out of hand. I think the police commissioner should be an active police committee so that we could make sure that this kind of a behavior doesn't continue in the city. I have a lot of citizens coming up to me with issues, concerns of a bunch of wild cowboys doing what they want to do, and nobody's accountable for it. I'm here to represent the city of Calexico, the citizens of Calexico especially. And I just feel that it's our time to put our foot down. I was born and raised here, and I just can't stand to see outsiders, especially. I could just see them right here, right now. Those two councilmen are not even from Calexico. Those POA members are not even from Calexico. And this is what I'm talking about. We need to take a stand, Calexico. It's time to take a stand. This is our city, and we should do something about it. And I'm asking you, step out and get the community out here, and let's do something about it. It's time. You just experienced the kind of behavior you see in the streets. In front of disrespecting the mayor, the council meeting, it speaks for itself. I'm embarrassed for them. I really am. I got nothing else to say.
Okay, thank you. I guess we'll be moving on now to the next item, which is business item number 12.
No, we have to take action.
Council has to discuss item 11.
Sorry. Okay, here we go. I guess we'll start with then the councilman comments, and we'll start with Mr. Kim on the left here. Since this is the item that you brought, Mr. Kim, would you like to make comments?
Now it's comment times. Okay.
You were on item 11, Mr. Kim.
I didn't expect this much as a hard issues for the people. And I have before mentioning Mr. Rodriguez. How many we have complained from police commissioner for the citizens complain about the police departments or any police-related issues? Briefly, since you are the city manager.
How many complaints?
Yes.
We've had some. I wasn't prepared to tell you how many.
Okay. Probably there was much, or they might have it. But apparently, I have here one of the speakers saying is he's going to go to a police commissioner meeting because police commissioner going to reveal how brutality about our police officers. And the person after meeting and send me email. And send me email again. About 9 things I never heard. Mostly I never heard. So is that the truth or is that the false? If the truth, actually our former police chief didn't do their job. Police commissioner didn't do their job. Even our city manager didn't do their job. And our city council didn't do their job because this brutal information. So one of the things I'm expecting to all those matters who wants to take care of new police chief coming in. That's why I didn't push it much. And myself, I have some issues too. Some of the public was mentioning their issues. But we need to have a proper person in charge first to do dealing with it. And I'm not gonna talk about the police commissioner this time because when I do item 11, I'm gonna mention on those. And
We are 11.
We are there.
This is item 11,
We
sir.
brought it
This
ahead.
is 11.
We brought it
no,
ahead.
but we have a council comment time right now.
No.
Yes.
That's what we're
yes.
doing.
Council comment time, but not the 11, item 11.
No, sir, we're working
Oh,
on
no.
everything
No,
that
no,
has
so
to...
item 11 after council comment is coming, we're gonna have a consider as item
Is this
11.
council comment?
No, I'm sorry, we're doing everything right now.
No, you can't
Because
do that.
the public is here to listen to the comments of
We
the council as
agree.
well.
Madam Mayor, I believe that if we do general comments after item 11 and 12 that have been moved up,
Right.
I think that'll be better.
Right, that's what we're trying to do.
Well,
Trying
we
to
moved-
accommodate the public.
We're trying to
They've
come
already
together.
discussed item
the
11.
public to talk, but
No, sir, to
we
participate.
we removed to the front of the consent agenda.
Yeah.
So our council's comment is supposed to be before the agenda we're talking.
But I think out of courtesy to the public, I think we should address item 11 because that's what we've been all discussing. Council comments in general should be after that.
But we never discussed on that.
We did, sir, we just agreed.
We just put the poster upside of the.
Madam Mayor, I'd like a motion to discuss item 11 and address that right now.
Okay,
I will second that, Madam Mayor.
thank you. Let's vote. You are voting to approve that the discussion of items number 11 and 12 be, at this point, ahead of everything else, in consideration of the public being here. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay.
Thank you.
Then now I'm gonna talk about police commissions.
Yes.
That's
Yes,
where
sir.
we're at.
Can you start first? I lost my pages.
Okay.
Okay, we'll jump back over to you right now after
Okay,
Mr.
I
Castro.
have a question, City Manager. The city of Central, the city of Brawley, the city of Holtville, are they have police commissioners? Do you know? Where is, yeah, it's right there. City Manager, my question is, the city of Central, the city of Brawley, the city from Imperial, and the city of Holtville, they have police commissioners? You've been in all the cities, and you live in Holtville. That's my question. Can you
I'm going to defer to the interim chief. Is Gerardo here? Can you step up? Do you know whether they have police commissions?
I believe they have commissions. I don't know if they have a police commission, though.
Okay. So you've been a city manager from El Centro and you didn't know?
Well, I
From
wasn't prepared
Brawley
to
and
answer
you
the
didn't
question.
know?
You didn't ask me before, so I didn't check it out.
Okay,
I
well,
wasn't in the police department.
The answer, you don't know, right?
I don't know.
And I see the interim chief police, you don't know either, right? City, you say no?
I said no, but I can Google it if you want.
Okay, you say no, okay. Okay, okay, yeah. We have a smart chief. Okay, what I looked through the Google, through the internet, and I found that they don't have it. They don't have it. El Centro, Brawley, Holville, and not even Imperial. They don't have a police commissioner. Now, okay, we are the only city with police commissioners. And I look at the website from El Centro, Brawley, Imperial, and Holville. And I get, they have a neighborhood watch and other projects related to the public safety. City of Calexico is bigger than all the cities in the county. And I get this information from the website, and this is an information from the city of Calexico. From the city of Calexico, and I get this from the Calexico Police Department, and I have this information from El Centro. Can you pass through all my colleagues, please? Here. And if you read the information that I get from the website from the police department in El Centro, the structure is very transparency. You can see there is a five pages of the information of the Calexico Police Department, El Centro, and from Calexico we have just one. And there is some pages, the name of all the officers, the name, the positions. Also, you can get that from the internet. And also, I have, from the same police department in El Centro, also we have the UCR report made by two categories, violent crimes and property crimes. And there is a chart of everything. It's very transparency. It's very transparency. El Centro, Brawley, and also Imperial. And my concern is, I rather to have and helping the community instead to support the commissioners. The commissioners, they need to focus on all these issues, what I mentioned. They need to mention about traffic. They need to focus on traffic. They need to focus in schools. They need to focus in streets. But guess what? They don't focus on those issues. I haven't seen any quarterly report from the police commissioners. Did you receive a quarterly report, city manager, from the police commissioners?
No.
No. Okay. What Mr. King mentioned, how many complaints that the commissioners receive from the community? He say, the city manager say, he's not sure about that. So what happened? I mean, are they supposedly they say they concerned about the community? Come on, they need to give us a quarterly report what's going on with the community. That's the reason we are here. That's the reason they are in that in that commission. I mean, let me speak. I make a motion. I make a motion to give the direction to the city manager and city attorney to compare others commissioners from Calexico and to give us a report for the next public council meeting. I mean, that's something they can do at least. We need to open for new ideas. Like I mentioned, El Centro, Brawley, Imperial. I mean, we need to be open to hear the other cities. And again, until today, I've been here in the council for almost 5 years. Until today, I haven't received any report from police commissioner. Any. City managers, he already said, and I'm just waiting for those reports. I'm still here, and I haven't seen any report. So that means they don't care about they don't care about the community. This is and I wanna tell you other thing. Remember, the policemeners are not a public officials. We appoint them in order to give us input, information to us, in order to resolve the problem with the community. They are not a public officials. Thank you.
Madam Mayor?
I believe that we need to jump over to Mr. Kim. Did you want to say something? Mr. Moreno, I guess you're ready?
Yeah, Madam Mayor. What I see here is a division of the community. Our job as council members is to solve problems. Problems are stated, problems are out there, but it's our job to solve problems. I know for a fact that we have an outstanding police force. They're human. They make mistakes, just like everybody else in this room. They want the best interest of Calexico. I know firsthand that when I go to work every day, that I know that I have 2 police officers that work for the schools, Officer Dominguez and Officer Sanchez. And I know for a fact that we've got some outstanding detectives. One who is in this room tonight, Officer Ceja, that did an outstanding job with a case at my school. People, we have to work together. We have to put the differences aside. I think that if we provide solutions to this problem, we're going to get places. We're not going to get anywhere by bickering like little kids. We must bring back the respect that we have for our police officers and the Police Officers Association within the community and the police commissioners who are there to listen to the concerns of our community. My solution would be this. My solution would be get 2 members of our police commission to sit down at the table with 2 members of the Police Officers Association to come together and try to work out what's best for the 40,000 residents that we have in this community. Disbanding is not the answer, folks. Working together is the answer. Having an open mind. I know Interim Chief Gerardo, I'd like to ask him what his point of view is as soon as I'm done saying what I gotta say, and I'll keep it under 3 minutes, out of respect for you that are here today. My respects to the POA. They want what's best for their officers like any other union, and I respect you. Teachers, United Food and Commercial Workers that you mentioned, that's all good. We need to put our differences aside. We need to come to the table. It doesn't have to be Mr. Alarcón or Mr. Casillas. It could be 2 other officers to form an ad hoc committee to see how we can work together, putting differences aside. We're not going to get anywhere, folks, if we keep arguing about petty things and bringing up skeletons out of the closet. It gets us nowhere. What's going to get us moving is to sit at the table, act like gentlemen and ladies, and come to a solution. And I propose that to this council. I challenge the POA, I challenge the Police Commission to set 2 members to sit down and meet. I can be there, or Mr. Hodge can be there, or maybe 1 council member can be there just to listen to concerns so that this fighting stops. And I know it's all been triggered by the selection of the police chief, which is another item. But right now, it's about the Police Commission that plays a vital part as a go-between for the citizenry and the police officers, and of course, the respect that the police officers deserve and work for the city on a daily basis, put their lives on the line. That's what I gotta say.
Mr. Kim, are you ready to make your comments? Thank you, John.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
It's nice speech. You always have nice speech,
Thank you, sir.
regardless of what's happening, but you have a nice speech. Okay. Our police commission recently has been out of scope. They're out of duty. And they are criticizing in front of the public. Any commissioners, they are became representing the city. They are not anymore the individual citizens. That's why they have to report on 700 forms. Now, they go to Facebook, they're releasing a lot of personal information. They should not. That's going to be vulnerable for the city of Calexico. That can be sued by the candidate and sued by individual, because they are no longer any individual citizens. They are commissioners representing the city of Calexico. They are not careful what they're doing at Facebook. I don't care about they criticizing how. They're criticizing me, but I don't go for there. The reason I'm concerned is they make cities very vulnerable to sue because they're releasing the personal information. And they're spreading the rumors without the fact. Even I found it, I printed our city staff during the working hours spreading the rumor too. The city manager has to be getting to that. And the commissioners, they have to do their duty. Our bylaw, purpose of the commissions, the general purpose of the commission is to provide forum for the receipt of the citizens' complaints brought by individual against the city police departments, or any of its officers, and to provide recommendation to the police department designate to improve the crime prevention and the police department relation with the community. There are a lot of doing things, they are out of the route, they are out of the scope. You guys, police commissioner's actions is make our city more vulnerable for the suing from the community. And I believe the city manager that has to deal with the city commissioner. And now it's just popped up some commissioners, their police commissioners, their background. I don't know how bad is that, but the way you see it under what's called the court documents, it was almost raping. So I believe I believe the city manager is supposed to look into that. We don't want any baggage to bad commissioners to baggage to the city of Calexico. That's what the main purpose. If the police commissioner, they do their job to protect the citizens, I'm okay to keep it. But like Mr. Castro was saying, it's the other cities, they don't have it. And one of the intention was for me, if we dissolve the police commission, there's a lot of areas we need to touch the community complaint, water bills, and a lot of issues they have, and they don't have a place to go to complain. I was trying to promote the city's community, which is not any areas not concerned by the commissioner. We can pick up from there. We can help the community. That was my intention was. We need our commissioner work in right and their duty and the scope of the work, not out of their work.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. Mr. Hodge?
Is the novella over? I'm sorry, I have to be humorous. This is a very uptight situation, ladies and gentlemen. But look around. We're fighting, but we're here, aren't we? That's a good thing. And I kind of like the drama as long as we don't end up hurting each other, because we are family. So when you walk away, I'm not here, but this is my home. I'm from LA. Okay, but I don't miss LA. This is my home now. But let's look at the family metaphor. When families, do they always agree? No, right? They argue, just like we're doing. But do they try to mend differences? Is there a base of love and respect there? Yes. And that's what we need to maintain. Because you're going to go out and run into each other in grocery markets or car washes or restaurants. What are you going to do? Avoid each other? Respect each other's differences. We are public officials. We are expected to take more heat. That's part of the game. But I ask you so articulately how our Councilman Moreno said, we need to come together. We're arguing so much. Think about your families when they argued and they were shouting at each other, and your little boy or girl was right in the middle of it listening to it. That little boy or girl had more maturity, more insight at that moment than those parents that just all that mattered was to make their point. And you stop listening. Not good. But I wouldn't have it any other way. I love this city. We're dynamic, we're exciting, but we're also family. So when you leave tonight, respect each other's differences. Listen to each other. Is it a matter of weakness to listen and consider someone else's opinion? Is it a matter of weakness that you might just change your mind? No, I don't think so. That's part of growing. I know everybody doesn't agree with me, and I respect that. But whatever I say and I do, it comes from my heart. And it comes from my background, just like what you believe in comes from your background. Don't deny that. We are divided by political affiliation, by church, by race, in so many ways, and that's good. There's a diversity, but we always have to respect the common ground, that we're family. Think about why you feel the way or believe the way you do. My father worked in Bethlehem Steel. My mother worked in factories. We never owned a business. So I understand, for me, the positive aspects of union because they represent working people. Working people and unions are one in the same. That's my strong opinion. You have a right to disagree. And if you're a business owner, I wouldn't expect you any otherwise to disagree. I'd be shocked if you were pro-union, because that's not where you come from. That's not your values. That's not your goals. But we need to understand we have differences and respect that. So yes, I'm pro-union, but I'm also here to keep people in line, to try to be fair and respectful, whether it's union members or not. And I'm also here for the greater good, and that's all of us as one big family in Calexico. Lots of bickering. I think, my fellow colleagues, you thought I was going to outright agree with them, didn't you? No. I think they've confused something. They've confused the individuals in that commission with the structure and value of that institution. I think having commissions are very democratic because they serve as a mediator and a voice for the people. You're going to play hell trying to have an appointment with our city manager or us, or run down a police officer. It's not that they care. We're busy, but we should care and we should stop, and I think most of the time we do. These commissions serve as a focal point and a mediator for you as the people to come and voice your concerns. To take that away we are taking away an instrument or an avenue for you to voice your democratic concerns. Now, what about the question that serve on that commission, the people? That's a different matter. We can take that up later, go by our bylaws, evaluate the individuals on all commissions. You know that I've been very big about if you're not stepping up and showing up and you're absent on a commission, then get your butt out of that seat and don't participate. We don't need dead weight. That's a different matter. We're confusing the institution with the members. If I say it right, it's like we want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Just throw out the bathwater. Keep the baby there. That's our commissions. Now, I'm going to be brave, and I'm going to tell you that it was my vote, ultimately, to reduce the size of the commission from 7 to 5. You can disagree with me, but I was thinking in terms of equity and fairness. Let's not deny that everything in life is political. Everyone has biases because you come from different backgrounds. But I have to work as a teacher to be as objective. Or what I do is I tell the children, you have a very liberal progressive teacher here that's going to teach you government. If you want a conservative mainstream teacher, go down 2 doors. Those textbooks are not neutral. They're relatively mainstream and conservative. That's my opinion. I think it's a blessing that they get my difference. Because if all they got was mainstream, they wouldn't know any other kind of alternatives, or they wouldn't be able to think or see other perspectives. So I thought, politically, to eliminate the idea of stacking the deck, that we would only have 1 panel member from each city council and our city manager. I was confident that us would select valuable people.
This is item 11?
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, he always wants to stop me. Do you want me to stop?
No, this is...
No, you. Okay, the people.
This is
No,
police
I know.
commission.
I know. I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Okay.
All right? But I think people want to know why it was reduced from 7 to 5, and I take the responsibility. Maybe I was wrong. I'll be open to listen, but I thought it was more equitable because I thought those other 2 extra people, as fair as they might be, what's their background? Who do they side with? What's their alliances? Each and every one of you are part of some kind of alliance, just like I am. That's okay, as long as you understand that and you try to overcome that. That's okay. But to believe that you're not and to deny it, that's not in the right world here. So, that's my reason. I had support, but I had the final decision, just like I have right now. So my final decision, future, we can look for solutions, like Councilman Moreno said, and we can follow his solutions, but I also like to say we should have a workshop for all commissions and to revisit and understand what our bylaws are, what our duties and responsibilities are, so that we keep our commissioners in check. Police officers know that they have a code of behavior. They're trained on it, they study it, they act on it. So should us councilmen and our commissioners. And any other areas that might come up for improvement. I forgot what the other point was. Anyway, last thing. I will vote to keep our police commission among all other police commissions.
Well, it's good to hear that. It's really good to hear that. I do appreciate those comments, Mr. Hodge. But, you know, I know that I've been very vocal about this item quite a bit. I feel very passionate about, actually offended by the actual even audacity of putting something like this on our agenda, because if we look at the organizational chart of the City of Calexico, guess who's on top? The citizens of Calexico are. And that's who pays our paycheck, gentlemen. And so as far as refusing, like you said, Mr. Hodge, you take responsibility for that first action, because actually there was 2 actions that occurred that refused to allow this commission that represents our community into this conversation and into this process. So I commend you for actually admitting that, because it has been a very difficult struggle to ensure that our public has participation in this process. That's all we're asking. That's all I'm asking, is that if the staff can have participation in selecting who their next boss is, so should the citizens. Because everyone here that gets a paycheck for the city of Calexico works for these people here, the citizens. And the citizens should be the ones to tell us what it is that they want, because the customer should always be right. And again, you're right, I'm upset because you want to remove this citizens committee. But at the same time, by trying to do that, you're removing their basic rights. And we all know that's wrong. I'm pretty sure that I'd be equally as upset that I am right now if this was the early 1900s. And you're going to tell me that I can't vote because I'm a woman. Come on, I think we're beyond those days, aren't we? How interesting that you researched quite a bit to find out how, Mr. Castro, you're hunting for information on how to be able to get rid of this public committee. And I don't appreciate that for our community. You know, you feel that they're forming an anti-government campaign, or somebody said that, I'm not sure. Well, you know, right now I feel that there's an anti-public campaign going on too. So again, you know, we don't want to continue the arguments and stuff, but this is something that is about basic rights of citizens. And yes, I have been very vocal, extremely vocal, because this community is my community just like it is yours. I've been here for a really long time. I was born in this hospital in Calexico when they had births at this hospital, and I feel a devotion to this community, and I'm asked every day, what am I going to do for this community? And that's what I'm doing. I'm stepping up to the plate and I'm defending the citizens. And those individuals who feel that what I'm doing is wrong, then you're not for the community. And that's unfortunate. You know, when this commission sat down and started to work, I appointed Mr. Mike Davies since I started, and I got a lot of heat from that since the beginning. You know, he's not here today because his mom, Tencha Duron, she's really sick and she's in the hospital, but he really wanted to be here because he does voice his concerns, and I'm very proud of him to be that type of an outspoken citizen, because without outspoken citizens like that, then why would we have any participation at all? Let the government do what they want to do. And so this is a democracy, and thank you, Mr. Hodge, for believing in democracy, because that's what this is about. We have hired already 2 other department heads in the last 6 months, I'd say. Very fine people that were hired. Mr. City Manager Rodriguez had everything to do with that hiring. We were just informed what it is that happened. I really don't understand why it is that this process has been so difficult, and why is it that we're not allowing the public to be involved? That's my only question the whole time. You know, right now, I understand we're going to start up a hotline so the community can contact us and tell us their concerns. Why? That's so hypocritical. Why would we do a hotline if at this point right now you don't want even anything to do, you don't want the community to say anything to you? But the community, the voice of the community is what has us here. And if we don't work for them, who do we work for? The letter that the commission provided to the council was an open letter. The committee has been extremely active. They sat down. They have had contact with me. They have had. I'm sorry, sir.
Agenda.
They have had quite a bit of activity going on. We're talking about the police commission. They have had quite a bit of activity. They went in and tried to review, they are reviewing their bylaws. They have several meetings. I have had several contacts with Mr. Mike Davies in my last 3 years that I've been here, and I have forwarded quite a number of situations to him. We now have had new members come on. We had just Mr. Gutierrez retire after being there for such a long time, and yes, it was dormant in the past, but at this point right now, being that you, Mr. Kim, and has come in and we have new members and there's more active members, we need to give this committee a chance. You want to kill this committee when you know full and well this committee really wants to work hard, and that's unfair to our community. I'm going to say something, and I know it's a little out there, and I guess that's kind of expected of me, right? You know, everything that's been going on in the conversation with the police chief should be out in open session. Why the secrecy? Why the secrecy? There's no need for that. You
Now
lose your,
you-
you
now
lose
you
your
go to
public's,
other-
you lose your
out of the-
public's
out of
trust.
scope.
Mr. Kim, I'm speaking.
Yes,
lose your
you are not
public's
talking of the
trust.
police commissioners.
You lose your public trust
You're not
when you
talking
do
of the
not-
police commissioner. You are chairperson,
Mr.
you're
Kim?
supposed not to.
Mr. Kim, please allow the mayor to
Mr. Kim?
speak.
You lose your public's trust when you shut them out. And we can't do that to this community. This community deserves better. And if any of you were here when we did that State of the City address, I hope you all were here. There's a lot of awesome things happening in the city of Calexico, and I have no other way to say it. It's awesome. We have so much progress, and sitting down and letting these kinds of things happen slows down our progress. And I don't know about you, but I want progress for the city, and I'm going to fight until we get it. Thank you very much.
Ms. Hurtado, you said I'm trying to kill the police commissioners.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kim. Did you want to say some more comments about
Yes.
item number 11? Okay, go ahead.
9/11. I'm not trying to shut down the police commissioners. The reason I brought this one to possible shutdown because our commissioners is out of scope. I don't care about the criticism. I've been criticism last 2 years. Do I care? As long as people vote for me to do my job, I'm here. I don't have to stop them to talking for the criticizing as a public official. I'm not intent to that. My intention is the police commissioner is supposedly not releasing any confidential items. Person's name, personal information shouldn't be that. And Ms. Hurtado was mentioning about we should be in open session. Yes, we should be open session, but by the law, personal issues we cannot discuss at the open session. That's the main issue. We couldn't do open session at the public. And police commissioners, they're not doing their job. They wasn't been doing, and the new commissioner members came in and
Madam Mayor, I call for the question. I call for the question, Madam Mayor.
Driving this
I call for the question, Madam Mayor.
out of
I
the law.
move that we do not eliminate the Calexico Police Advisory Commission.
Do I have a second?
Second that.
Thank you, Mr. Hodge, very much. Okay, we have a first by Mr. Moreno, a second by Mr. Hodge to vote not to eliminate the Calexico Police Advisory Commission as requested by Mr. Castro and Mr.
In
Kim.
those cases,
Please vote.
Okay, wait a minute. I have the
Please
discussion
vote.
time.
There's a motion on the table, Mr. Kim?
In case of that, we like to have
Mr. Kim, there's a motion on the
direction
table?
to the city manager.
Madam Mayor, I think we've exhausted this conversation. We need to move on and conduct business.
Thank you. Mr. Castro, would you like to go ahead? Hay que votar,
No, está bien, that's okay.
Okay,
but I
would you like to go ahead and place your votes,
direction.
gentlemen? We do have a vote, an active vote going on, please. Just vote. Just vote.
Gently vote.
No direction.
Okay,
Without no direction, huh?
the vote that just occurred now is a vote not to eliminate the Calexico Police Advisory Commission as requested by yourself and Mr. Kim. That is the question, that is the motion being presented.
And I'd like to make sure that the first order of business, as we get an ad hoc committee from the commission and the police officers to meet together and try to work together.
Let's do a
Thank you.
separate motion
Oh,
on
separate
that
motion,
one.
okay.
Just because you already, the motion, you voted on it, which
Okay.
was not to eliminate, but someone else can make a motion about direction or where we go.
Okay, so this motion was to not eliminate the Calexico Police Advisory Commission, and motion carries 4-1. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, I move that we produce an ad hoc committee from the Police Commission consisting of 2 members and 2 members from the Calexico Police Officers Association, and maybe myself or another council member to sit together, first of all, and to try to solve problems and work out differences as soon as possible.
Thank you, Mr. Moreno.
By the way,
Thank you.
Mayor,
Yes.
can I speak?
Yes, sure, go ahead.
Yeah. Also, I would like to give direction to the city attorney and city manager to update these bylaws because these bylaws are since 1979.
You're talking about the Police Advisory Commission, the bylaws?
No, I'm talking about the.
Madam Mayor, I would like to include Mr. Castro's
Yes.
suggestion in my motion to look at the bylaws and move forward.
Thank you.
Yeah, but first let's meet 2 and 2. And maybe myself and
Okay,
yourself.
one more time, just for the public to clarify, please, your motion.
My motion is to produce 2 members from the Police Commission to sit down and meet with 2 members of the Police Officers Association to work together on a common goal, also to review bylaws, and then report back to City Council. I would say 2 council members, too. I would like to volunteer for that.
I'll volunteer with you, John.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much. That's an awesome idea. Okay, can we move on now? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. So you motioned then, John? Do I have a second?
And I
I'm sorry,
second
Mr.
it,
Moreno.
Madam Mayor.
Okay, and we're going to go ahead then and vote on what Mr. Moreno just said.
Keep pushing, Mr. Castro.
Wait.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Motion carries. Okay, moving on to item number 12 of our business items. Item number 12 of our business, consideration of a resolution of the City Council to approve the appointment of the police chief, approve an employment agreement, and authorize the city manager to sign the employment agreement. What we decided is that we were going to pull this item up here so that the public can go ahead and continue participating in public comments. And I believe, Ms. Padilla, I cut you off, didn't I? I think I did. You want to go ahead and come up first? I've lost your slip. Please. Please.
Pay attention, Calexico. Pay close attention to what is happening in here. First, we lose a fine mayor, then we lose a fine police chief. Now our police commission too. What is left? Will we have a curfew now? Will we be able to speak and move about freely? Pay attention to what is happening. We have no involvement in our council's actions. Why? I heard what was said to the Ivy Press, that the police commission is a political committee. Well, if you think that, good. We know that this is a very active committee, that it has obviously hit a sensitive nerve with the majority of the council. The mayor and the councilman walked out of closed session. Good. They must be feeling just like we are. We feel we have been pushed to the side in a process that is obviously political, each time a logical fallacy is used to defend ridiculously and blatantly inappropriate behavior and decisions. Since the beginning of all of this, we feel you had no intention to include the public. Don't you realize that the chief of police must interact with the public, must represent the department, and be a constant face available to those with concerns, and trust me, must be a key factor. How can we trust this candidate you want to hire today when we have been locked out of this process? We cannot trust someone who has been hired under secretive circumstances. No matter how many times I hear you say the process was done legally, I am doubtful, and so are many with this community. If this process was done legally, then there would be no need to hide anything, right? Smells fishy to me. Why have you wasted everyone's time? If you already had a hand-picked candidate, you should have saved everyone their time and energy and just appoint them. This is the most disturbing part of this process. Going through the motions of a selection process when we all know it was just for show. I am disappointed in the council members who supported these shenanigans. Who do you represent? Who signs your paycheck? You think we are not watching what is going on? Believe me, we are right here because we are watching. We are here and we're not going to go away. We want answers.
Thank you, Ms. Padilla. Okay, Mr. Alarcon, you're next. Item number 12.
Good evening, everyone. Rudy Alarcon, Calexico, POA. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're here once again to discuss this ever so controversial process. I hear citizens are upset that the commission was not allowed to serve. I will remind each and every one of you that every single council member up there had the option to appoint a police commissioner. Just like the mayor had the opportunity to appoint a commissioner, Mr. Moreno, Mr. Hodge, Mr. Castro, Mr. Kim. Everybody had that opportunity. If they chose not to appoint a commissioner, then I guess you can speak to them. I know the mayor has been very vocal about wanting a commissioner. I'm sure she had the option of appointing somebody. Why she didn't do it, I don't know. But what I'm here to convey to you is, I wish we can move on. I know there was a panel set. Some people say that it's not a good panel, that they're not representatives of the community. Out of those 5, 3 meet the city code that was recited by one of the speakers earlier. 3 of us are either employees or citizens of the community and have been professionals for over 10 years. I don't know who the top candidate, the top 3, that was not disclosed to the people in the interview. I'm sure by this time the council knows, and according to all these Facebook wars and all these rumors, there's already been a pre-selected chief. Again, I will remind you, other than Mrs. Hurtado, everyone else is anonymous. So why would we fall for that? I would ask that you respect the people that each one of you appointed to that commission and go with what is right. There's a lot of speculation out there. None of us know. It's nothing but rumors, guys. And councilman, councilwoman, I think it's your responsibility to move forward with this. Thank you very much.
Okay, last speaker is Mr. Daniel Romero. Thank God.
Daniel Romero, 800 Holdridge. First, even though this item was placed in the agenda and it was removed and then it was reinserted, that's unfortunate. Even though a lot of the people here are here to hear and waiting for a final decision on our next chief of police chief here in Calexico. Sitting here for as long as that I have, a lot of the wind of the sails has gone by. But one of the things that I will bring up, and it's asked the council, similar to what I said earlier today, is this council above the law? City ordinance dictates only the city manager will make that recommendation. And yet, the council selected a panel that some have questioned not only the validity, but the eligibility of being on that panel. Now, one of the things that was mentioned by one of the CPOA members is about background check. You're here today to discuss and vote who would be the next chief of police. Now, one of the things that, if it is not a rumor, then this should be clarified to the members here present, and I'm talking about the community, if there were background checks made on the finalists. How can you, if you have not, how can you select a chief of police today without doing the thorough background check? It's a matter of due diligence. Now, you don't want somebody to be providing those background checks on other people when he himself has not been given a background check. I was stunned. Back in February, I made mention that I was pleasantly surprised that there was a panel of the county attorney, the district attorney, a chief of police, and even the sheriff. And then I was dumbfounded to realize that the sheriff was not involved in this process. He never got the call. Now, we talk about a fairness in the selection. A fairness in selection would have been straight across law enforcement officials who have administrative experience. Anything other than that, there was no
That's where we disagree.
Equality there, or equity in the selection process. You talk about education, certifications, everything to the fact. Now, The president of the POA just mentioned that, if I understood correctly, that he himself doesn't know who's the finalist that will be discussed today. I guess we'll know in a few minutes, because if it is who everybody suspects it is, then that comment could be construed as untrue. At least one, I had things written down. I'm not going to go through it. I'm just going to go ahead and conclude here. There was a comment by one council member, I don't know who it was, but threw a slanderous remark on one of the candidates. Whoever that candidate is, to be the next you of Calexico, I hope he takes it to heart and does something about it. One of you was reckless, and good luck with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Romero. Okay, just want to remind the council and the public present that we will not be, we are tabling item number 12, and that is the final comment. I'm going to let you.
Good evening, everybody. I wanted to save the council a lot of time. I served on the El Centro Police Commission board for 5 years. And our job is just to take complaint from the citizen and to adhere to the bylaws of the commission and actually to find what is the problem to help the public and, you know, the department. So until the chief was chosen and then he dissolved the commission, which I didn't like. I respect your decision tonight to keep the commission because it's vital for city to get complaint. But my recommendation with all, you know, the difference we have in the city, we still have democracy, and thank God we are in America. We're not in, you know, in a regime that you can't even speak. So, you know, we follow democracy, and I think the democracy will follow through. If we chose to put a panel and the decision come, it's up to the city council at the end to decide. And you know, we need the safety and we need to work together, like Mr. Bill Hodge, you know, said, as a family. Doesn't matter what difference you like, don't like me, you don't like my name, it's tough. I'm an American citizen. I have 6 kids are born in this city. I'm a citizen of this Calexico. I still will voice my voice, no matter who agree or doesn't agree. It's all democracy. So at the end is gonna come, how can we improve our safety for our children, the community, and make the city a better environment for everybody. And thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that is all then on the public comments on these 2 items. We will now revert back to the normal process that we follow when we go through the city council meetings.
Excuse
and
me.
so
we need to vote. We need to vote to this one for the table for the next meeting.
We need to vote for that.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought that the city attorney was mentioning that we were going to be tabling.
We have to vote it.
We have to vote?
Since it's agenda.
Madam Mayor.
It's up to you. It can just be pulled. You don't need to take an official vote. You can continue it to the 21st. It's the wishes of the council.
Madam Mayor, I move that we continue item 12.
Item 12, the consideration of a resolution of the city council to approve the appointment of the police chief, approve an employment agreement, and authorize the city manager to sign the employment agreement. You're asking that we move that item to the 21st?
Yes.
Okay, do I have a second on that?
Second.
motion?
Madam Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to open up my mouth. The reason why we're not telling you who it is, ladies and gentlemen, is for the very good reasons that former Mayor Romero said. We're not ready. We want to do right. The backroom check is important. I wouldn't want to hire somebody and then later find out we messed up, right? So the background check is extremely important. Please respect that. I think you would, all right? That's why we're not ready, ladies and gentlemen. And we've been told by the district attorney that most likely it'll be ready very soon. So please be patient. And the other reason it was in the newspaper why the panel names and candidates were not announced, according to our Attorney General, is because we could hurt their present employment. And I know how you understand that. You don't want to go for a job, interview for a job, and at the same time, your boss finds out you're out there interviewing for a job, and you come back and he goes, "What are you doing that for? Do you have issues here?" That kind of thing. So that was told for us by the city attorney. I think you need to know this. So it's legitimate reasons. Maybe they could be argued about, but those are legitimate reasons, and I do respect the law. I do respect city attorney. So on that, I would like to continue. I second that motion.
Okay. Was that a first by Mr. Moreno, second by Mr. Hodge? And that is to continue item number 12, the consideration of the resolution. City Council to approve the appointment of the police chief, approve an employment agreement, authorize the city manager to sign the employment agreement. Your motion is to move that item to the 21st of May?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Okay, please vote.
We're working together, we're working together.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, going to go ahead and revert back. If maybe you guys want to take a little break?
Oh,
Okay, we'll take about a 5-minute break. The translator even needs a break. Okay, meeting is called to order once again. Thank you for allowing us to take that break, and thank you for your patience. Okay, we're going to revert back now to the original area of the agenda that we were at before we allowed for items number 11 and 12 to come up ahead. And I believe we're at the general comments by council members right now. Is that correct?
I only have one item, Madam Mayor.
Okay,
and
hold on a sec, though. We're going to do...
City Manager?
He stepped out for just a second.
Okay,
But
well,
we-
maybe our city clerk can inform him. We have a beautiful Veterans Memorial right here right on the grounds of City Hall. I'd like for that to be in working order for Memorial Day, and that we honor our memorial, our men and women who died in war, and have a Memorial Day service, if we can, on Memorial Day. I know it's a holiday, but I think that's important for our community. We care enough to put up a monument. Let's care enough to honor those that have given their lives. I have a couple of other items, but I'm going to email Mr. Servin or Code Enforcement so we can just move on.
Okay, Mr. Moreno, thank you. Is that your comments as in the area that we're in right now, or did you want to have another opportunity?
I don't want to say any more. I've said enough.
Okay, you're taking me out of my routine here. Okay, Mr. Hodge, are you next?
Yeah, I can't find my notes, Madam Mayor. Can you go to somebody else?
Sure, Mr. Kim, would you like to be next in council comments? Could you gentlemen close the door, please? Appreciate that. Thanks. Mr. Kim, did you want to make some comments?
Okay. First of all, we have a courthouse closing in Calexico. I think everybody knows by that. And unfortunately, we don't do anything for that. I had some meeting with the people, 11 people was last Wednesday at the Camarena, and they were concerned a lot, but I believe we have to fight to keep the police, talking too much police. Courthouses not to close it. So I like to offer to our fellow council member to make the special meeting, discuss soon as possible in this week, discussing about is it possible to fight back in case of if we needed to injunction to the court to delaying the process, and then we can create the fighting among the community members to send a letter to all the elected persons from the Kia Valley, and also same to the judge. And we need to do something. We can't just lay down to close the courthouse. I'd like to offer to some special meeting this week, probably Thursday or Friday. We can have a special meeting for that. The other one is I heard from the community members. I think they left. So I believe the housing authority is out of our scope. But some of the citizens, they've been kicking out from the house because have 3 family members who died and the family, and they couldn't prepare the obligation or paperwork. So it's just kind of like, if that's true, I don't know how we can city as a step into there to try to protect our citizens. What I understand, around 10 families been evicting from the housing authority. The city manager, is there any we can investigate on that?
I'm sorry, I missed part of it. What was the first part of it?
He's mentioning about the individuals that just left right now that we set up the appointment tomorrow at 9:30.
Right.
Yeah, we have an
We have an
appointment
appointment
scheduled
at
with them
9:30.
tomorrow.
We're gonna have a
with
taking care of
making a
that?
call to HUD, correct.
Okay. And also, I was mentioning a while ago, I was very concerned about our city staff during the working hours going to the internet and doing the Facebook and spreading the rumor. And I believe the city manager has to be looked into and investigated. I like to have some kind of
Yeah, if we have specific items or times or dates or individuals, I certainly would like to know about it. Employees do sign.
I have a black and white.
Okay, because employees do sign a document that says they will not be doing that. The computers are only supposed to be used for business. So if you have certain times, events that happen, please give them to me.
Yes. And also, someone criticizing me, I'm making compass. I'm independent. You guys wanted to put me as a compass? Go ahead. But I was an anti-compass. Now that you guys are trying to send me as a compass. For example, me and Mr. Castro just barely started talking 3 weeks ago. I wasn't talking since January, or end of December. December sometime, starting from there, I didn't speak with Mr. Castro. And now they're calling me compa with him. Whatever I'm making decision for the community, might be different community members like some of our fellow councilmen talking, but community, I got the vote from them. I'm representing our community. Of course, I have to looking into best of interest our cities. That's why I'm fighting a lot of different things. Then independently, sometimes 4-1. I'll oppose it, but I'm still standing up what I believe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. Mr. Castro, are you ready?
No comments at this time.
Okay, and I think I skipped somebody. Okay.
Just to inform you that we had a successful workshop by ICTC and the consultants to have the community come together and discuss and give their input on the possible orange bus circulator for the city of Calexico. I thought it went very well. Our mayor was there. Councilman Kim, Councilman Castro, but most important, there was a cross-section of community or citizens from Calexico. So I thought that went well. The findings will be coming down the road. I don't remember exactly how long that will take or when, but when we do get insight or findings on it, I will take the responsibility to report to you. On another note, I'd like to have our staff inquire or give me or all the other city councilmen that are interested any information on what are we doing, if anything at all, at active transportation. I envision that Calexico would be an ideal place for pedestrian walkways more, especially, you know, the ramps for the handicapped, to make sure that we have that in compliance and we have enough of them. Also, bicycle lanes. And I'm speaking above and beyond the project that we're doing through the new river. Do we have a master plan? Have we figured out what money? If not through ICCT or SCAG or any other source. So I'd like some insight on that. The other one, City Manager, is on a lighter, more positive, but just as important note, I don't want to give up on us moving forward on honoring. We can figure out all the details, sir, but honoring our employees, our staff here, quarterly, monthly, every 6 months. We work it out, okay? I'm open to it. And also our citizens. Our citizens are out there doing a great job contributing to the community in various ways. That's positive, so let's work on that. We need that. Okay, that's all.
Thank you, Mr. Hodge. Mr. Moreno, did you want to say anything?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I'd like to report that the Baja Runners had an extremely successful first annual Tri-Tip Cook-Off this past weekend. And that was perfect for me because I was really hungry the next day after I danced with Dancing with the Stars. And Dancing with Stars was a really nice event. I know that many of my friends and parts of the community were there with me to support me, and it was a great experience, dancing with the Stars and raising funds for our students. And again, then the next day, Baja Runners had an awesome event, quite a bit of people in there, and of course, great food and great music. I'd also like to take the time to thank Erica here at City Hall, and Ms. Loli Torres, and the staff of CoCLX that allowed me to present a very, very informative and fun and interactive State of the City just recently.
That was great, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. We had a lot of fun.
Great video
with that.
production values.
Yeah. Angel Esparza from CoCLX did a great job, and it was interesting because we did that all in one day. So, yeah. So I hope that you all enjoyed that, and that presentation tells you the positive things that are happening in the City of Calexico. And I purposely wanted to highlight the job and the different things that our staff is doing for us, specifically the POA. So, because there are good things in the City of Calexico, so I hope you enjoyed that.
Mayor, before you go on, because I know we're going to leave somebody out. So Gabby
Oh,
also
and
was
Gabby.
involved.
Oh, Gabby.
Ronnie
There you
was
go. Thank you,
involved.
Gabby.
Backbone of
Who
the
else?
city.
Gabby, come on. Tell us who was involved so we
There's a
can
lot
give
of
everybody
people that
credit.
are behind the scenes for things
There was
like
a lot of people that were involved behind the
We
scenes
had, I
to make
believe,
this
over
happen.
40 pioneers that were recognized, and that was a lot of people. So thank you so much to all of you. Thank you very much. Today, I participated, as I do every other Tuesday, with the JPA program, and we are now experiencing our JPA paperwork and issues related to finances being that we are no longer being taken care of by the treasurer that was an elected official at that time. They have hired a bookkeeper to take care of the business of the finances with JPA, so we'll be going through that transition. And again, I also agree with the fact that that was a very positive meeting for the proposed orange line here in the City of Calexico. That is proposed by our county officials, and that appears to be something that will come and supplement what we already have here. But we looked at the maps, and the maps show that there are quite a number of unserved areas in the City of Calexico, and so I felt it was a productive meeting, a lot of participation, and a lot of good ideas. So hopefully we can work with the county soon and improve our systems. And last but not least, I just want to remind everybody that Mariachi Festival is the 13th of May through the 19th of May. Please join us. There's something going on every day of the week. And the concert itself will be on the 19th at Crummett Park. So thank you very much. Okay, thank you for being so patient. We're going to move on now to our consent agenda. Do I have a...
Madam Mayor, do I
Yes.
get to say something?
I'm sorry, I keep forgetting you, Oscar.
Manager report.
It's all right. I just sit quiet over here in the
We'll give you
corner.
2.5 minutes.
You can give me two.
Go ahead, City Manager.
But I think it's important on some of these items to mention them. Under the fire department, the department has been staffing a second ambulance, in case you don't know. More frequently these days, as staff levels have been full. So what we talked about bringing up our capacity at the fire department a while back when we talked about having 10 per shift, we've been able to successfully do that and therefore be able to run a second ambulance more and more. This has been a huge benefit to the department in terms of employee fatigue, equipment wear and tear, and ultimately capturing those calls that the private ambulance company would cover in the absence without the second unit that we couldn't run. all in all, it has continued to improve our efficiency in service, and I think that's what we're always concerned about, making sure that our employees are able and ready to provide that efficient service. Housing is always needed, and so we are continuing to look at grants in order to provide additional housing. We have been very successful in the different grants on the state and federal level, and we're going to be applying for a grant under the HOME program, application due July 8th, and we'll probably be looking at home occupied rehabs, tenant-based rental assistance, and more first-time home buyer money as the economy heats up. Hopefully there'll be more ability to put that money out with people to buy their first homes. Library received a notification that there was a special grant that is being awarded to all libraries, and we will be getting $10,000 in order to purchase some additional books for the library. As you all know, Grand Plaza is continuing to move forward. The walls are going up. If you haven't been out there, please go out there. It's an amazing sight now to see those walls go up in order to have the tenant space for the different tenants. And, you know, I think you've been told in the past of some of the tenants that we do not have in Imperial County that will come out here, such as Skechers, Puma, Guess, American Eagle, Nike. You will be impressed when it's all over. And guys, watch out for your credit cards.
Starbucks.
You're going to give them to your significant others. Be careful.
He wants Starbucks and I want Coach.
Starbucks, I think we're working on, and there's also Burgers and Beer, I believe, supposed to go in there, which I shouldn't have said. So those walls started going up, and the tenants will now start and have started already bringing in their plans for tenant improvements, and so there'll be even additional activity in the coming months as the tenants start getting the shelf space and start doing their own improvements out there. So we all look forward to a successful October opening in reference to that. Tonight we have another project on the housing side, Las Palmas Mobile Home Park, which I like to say modular home park. People get the wrong idea. Again, another housing project that we are very helpful. We're hopeful that you know, we can move that forward tonight. That's on your agenda tonight for consideration. And last but not least, certainly we're still working on the pool, even though you haven't heard anything on that. And our next step is to go ahead and have a joint meeting, I think was the last time that we met, between the council and the school district in order to update everybody on where we're at, and at the same time start working on the actual agreement that needs to be put together.
City Manager, I'd like to make that meeting as soon as possible.
Yes, sir.
On the pool.
Oscar, Mr. Rodriguez, I also failed to mention that I was present when Congressman Vargas and Congresswoman Loretta Sanchez visited the city of Calexico, and I did get to discuss with them about our casino. And he did ask that we contact him as soon as possible.
Yes, we spoke to both the representative as well as his reps, and they're going to get back to me in reference to what the status is of our application at this point.
Great. Thank you for your report, Mr. Rodriguez. Okay, moving on now then to the consent agenda. Do I have an approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
I have a pull-out.
I'm sorry?
I have a pull-out on number 7.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
6. I want to separate discussion, number 6.
You want to pull item number 7?
Number 6 and
Number
7.
6 and number 7?
8.
Motion to approve 1 through 6, 1 through 5,
Do I have a second?
Second.
and 8.
Huh?
1 through 5 and 8.
No, I said 6, 7, 8. Pull separate discussion.
All right, 1 through 5, I didn't hear you.
Thank you. First by Mr. Moreno, second by Mr. Hodge. Please vote. Okay. Okay, motion passes, all right. Motion passes 4-1. I believe Mr. Hodge wants to make a comment about what we're going to do here with consent agenda.
No disrespect, Councilman Kim, because you always have excellent comments, but Councilman Kim, it's late. Can we agree, if that's possible, maybe about a 3-minute?
Well, I was going to suggest that we do limit our comments. Let's say, for example, on each item, 3 minutes on each item. That'll be a total of 9. So I think you can cover all 3 in 10 minutes.
Maybe less.
Because if I understand right, these kinds of items should be
It is
carried
stat-
out and clarified during our briefings.
Besides that, yes, you're right. We do have the opportunity to be briefed by our city manager prior to these meetings, and consent agenda is an area of an agenda that is usual and customary to, there, right, they're usually that's why they're on a consent agenda. So I agree with you, Mr. Hodge. Do I have the consensus of the council that we try to?
I would like to move forward on that.
I agree with you, I agree with you.
Okay, Mr. Kim, I believe then that you will
I'll
have.
try to cut as soon as
Please, thank
short
you.
as possible. I'm a human being too. I'm tired too.
Okay, so go ahead and make your items on number 6, Mr. Kim.
Number 6, that the building is a historical building for Calexico. Historical building. That's our former city government building there. And then what I understand in council, the council, they want to put some boxes out there to, looks like probably like some of the warehouse or like some attachment. It look bad, and they was saying of the security, they might can put the security, the personnel inside of the building like a courthouse. When you go to courthouse, they have a security inside the building. So I make the motion to not to approve it.
Is that your comments, or are you asking to, you're providing a motion? Do I have a second on that motion to not approve the request from the Mexican consulate to construct a security office on city property located on 408 Heber Avenue?
Second for discussion.
Yeah.
Why do they want to do that?
Just for clarification, so that you have the information, the reason this is coming before you at this point, and the item before you, is that in the contract, which is in your backup, item number 60 in the agreement specifically says that any alterations done to the premise, then the tenant must receive tenant approval for it, for any alterations or additional improvements. The actual plans for the actual design of the security office still has to clear through staff. And one of the things that I did mention to a couple of you was that I personally was not happy with what they have in the folder, but so we're going to be talking to them about that, about fixing it up a little better so that it matches to the building. Now, if you just flat out don't want it, well then this is the time to say so we don't go any further. But if the idea is we're not in agreement with the way it looks because we don't think it'll match the building or whatever, I agree, and we will be working on that. Tonight, all you're looking at is whether or not you want to allow them to provide for a security unit there.
Okay, thank you. There is a motion on the table to not approve the request by the Mexican consulate to construct a security office. Is there a second on that motion?
I second it for discussion.
Okay. Go ahead.
No, I already discussed it.
Okay, that makes me uncomfortable. It is an historical site. It's a beautiful historical site. I wouldn't want them to degrade that or take that essence away. Could we table this until you get more information?
Definitely. You could go ahead and table, and then we could work on the plans themselves.
Yeah.
At least a rendering, because what we don't want to do is we don't want to spend a lot of money on plans if you're not going to approve it. But we could at least get a rendering that hopefully looks better with the building and bring that back to you. So I have no problem with that.
Yeah, I don't want to approve this
I'll
tonight.
change my motion then. I must make my motion to table.
Okay. Table?
You're amending your motion then to table item number 6?
And I'll second.
Okay, first
just
by
before you
Mr.
take a vote, because I heard something right now about not in the front, so you have specific issues?
Yeah, I think that would take away from its overall aesthetic.
Well, that's true. I'd like to hear what they want, and then...
Well, they want to put it right in front, just the way...
Okay, not in front.
So I guess I don't want to go through all the work and then have somebody say, no, we really don't want it in front. If you don't want it in front, then I need to know so that I can work on that.
Do you think maybe we should add, just add a little bit of information on how and why? Because the consulate, what happens is that since it's such a small building on the inside, there's no waiting area. So all the individuals that are out there expecting some type of service from them are waiting outside. That's true. And that's why and they're waiting outside under any circumstances, but that's why then they want the security office, because that security officer will then take care of the crowds that accumulate outside of the building. Is that correct?
Right, they could go up to where the security officer is and ask him for information.
Wait, the building is for the security office, and the people are out there in the sun?
Yes.
I have a question.
Sure.
I believe around 2 or 3 years ago, it used to be a trailer on the right, on the right side of the building, right?
That's correct. That used to be a city department.
Could that be possible? Instead to build a building,
Well, one of the things that
probably it's an option.
Yeah, one of the things that had been proposed at one time was to actually put something in the back of the building, big enough so not only for the security person, but for people waiting, it could be in the air conditioning during the summer. And they've narrowed it down to this now. So if you like me to go back and talk to them about the option of doing a trailer or something that looks nice with the building that also encompasses the citizens, I'd be happy to do that.
Yes.
What was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. The structure itself, I think I remember you told me when I was with you in review, is that, isn't it those types of structures that you can just, it's already like prefabricated and they place it on the base, the cement base, and then they can actually remove it very easily? It's not a permanent structure, is it?
What, this or?
The security office, the one we're talking about.
No, it's not. And that's why, you know, it was set up this way, because if they ever lose their lease or turn in their lease or whatever, if we want it removed, then we want them to remove it. So it's not going to be a permanent fixture, which would be the same situation if we had a trailer in the back or some facility in the back.
Mr. City Manager, I do not want to vote on this at all today. I don't like the idea of it out being in front. I think you need to converse and have more meaningful dialogue. And certainly what has to be included is a consideration for the residents or the people there in 110-degree heat.
Okay, we can certainly take that back and discuss that with them, because like I said, at one time they were talking about doing some behind the building so that not only a security officer, but also for people waiting to go into the building. So we can certainly discuss that with them. And we'll bring it back when we're ready.
Okay, so the consensus of the council is to then table item number 6, correct?
Yes.
Do we have to vote on that? Okay. I believe I had a first from Mr. Moreno and a second from Mr. Hodge. Please vote. And this vote is to table item number 6 under consent agenda. Okay, thank you. Motion carries. Okay, Mr. Kim, you also wanted to pull item number 7, approval of authorization for city manager to sign an agreement with Dwayne Peak for inspection services for the 1.0 million gallon, 3.0 million gallon, 4.0 million gallon, and 6.0 million gallon water tank repair and upgrade project.
Okay, first of all, my question is city staff capable to do it?
Well, and as we discussed during our briefing, Mr.
Yes.
Kim, I think the issue is more that we do not have staff that are at that level that can do these inspections. The issue that was in the staff report that we are short of staff, that is also true, but my biggest concern is that we do not have staff, even if we were able to move them around, that have that high skill to be able to do that. And obviously, with a project this big, with millions of dollars on the line, we don't want to take any chances.
Second question was, I'd like to know why we didn't go to bidding process.
I'm going to let the Public Works Director answer that one.
We didn't go to the RFP process.
No, we didn't go through a bidding process. That is correct, Mr. Kim. However, Mr. Peak has demonstrated his abilities already working on several projects in the city, including the East Reservoir.
But you're saying that he's been working with us, or he's been working this kind of work at the different places?
As we've needed a independent inspector, he's been available, and we've hired him for other projects.
Yeah, but I believe that when we opened the bidding process, supposedly several different experienced people coming in. So I'd like to know this really reasonable to not to go to bidding process.
Well, again, it's pretty hard to find somebody with all of his combined talents. You were asking earlier if there's staff on board that can do the inspection, and the answer to that is that we have staff available that can do portions of the inspections, but we don't have one person capable of doing all the inspections that are required. And this is a quite complicated project with a lot of piping, valves, and mechanisms, paint, and a lot of interaction with metals that really need to be focused on by an expert.
Those, I see here the single, solar source, the justification. That's what you're mentioning?
Yes.
Okay, so very hard to find a person like that.
It would be hard. We're hard pressed for time as it is. We're trying to get it done before the next anniversary. And also, this person lives close by in Holtville, so, you know, we
Okay.
have the best of all worlds.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
If no one doesn't have a question, I make the motion to approve it.
Second.
First by Mr. Kim, second by Mr. Moreno. Please vote. Thank you. Motion carries. Next item, Mr. Kim, you asked to pull is item number 8, the approval of the authorization for the city manager to sign an agreement with the MCS Inspection Group Incorporated for coating and painting inspection services for the 4.0 million gallon and 6.0 million gallon water tank repair and upgrade project.
Same things, same, I think same question.
Yeah,
was-
same answer, and in this particular case, it requires a certified coating and painting inspector, which we do not have on board.
Okay, I'll make the motion to, if nobody questioning, I'll make the motion to approve it.
Second.
Okay, Bill.
Who wants to take it?
I take that one, I was ahead of him.
Okay. Okay, so first by Mr. Kim, second by Mr. Hodge. Please vote. Okay, motion carries. Okay, moving on to business items. Item number 9 is approval of resolution to authorize the city manager to sign fund control agreement as amended between the City of Calexico and Dixieline Builders Fund Control Incorporated for Las Palmas Mobile Home Park pursuant to final review by city attorney. Do you have something for this?
I think I'm going to let the tag team do this one between the Public Works Director and Legal.
The process here is, we've already approved the project, and the only change here is to bond the project by a different methodology, which is allowed by the Subdivision Map Act. We're looking at it right now, and as far as we can see, the Subdivision Map Act does allow this. We're looking at the agreement between Dixieline, which is going to be the holding company of the security, to do the services that are needed to hold the money, hold them responsible, so they can complete the project. And again, this is being done for a couple of reasons. One is to save money for the client because he is doing a very outstanding project. We said it's a manufactured home. There's certain connotations about it, but when you look at the renderings, you'll see that it looks like a very nice home in an upscale area. This process is to just guarantee the bonding of the improvements. If something should happen to the developer, then Dixieline holds the money and the city can then finish the project. And as I said earlier, the attorney and ourselves, we're looking at the agreement, trying to determine some of the wording in the agreement so it's acceptable by all parties.
So I have a question. So this one is guaranteed by the money, but in case of a fail, the city has to step into to finish the job.
Like any other subdivision, that is correct.
But if we go by the law ordinance, we obligate them to buy the bond company has the responsible to finish the job.
The Subdivision Map Act, to answer the question, let me answer it this way. The Subdivision Map Act allows you to put up security by either various means. One is you can put up the cash, you can put up property, you can put up a bond, or in this case, you can hire somebody like Dixieline to hold the money so that the project can be done.
But according to the documents you have, in case of if we go by the ordinance, by the bond, they don't have to do anything. I mean, we don't have to do anything in case they fail. bond company steps in, they're gonna finish the job for us. But in case of the escrow process, they're holding the cash in the escrow process, we're not gonna have a control of the money, how they pull out money for the spending on the project. At the same time, in case they fail, we are the one has to be steps in to the doing all the rest of the work.
That is true for any project that has been done already in projects we're doing.
So it's
now.
better for us to let them follow the process to get the bond, to guarantee by the bond. In case if they fail, we're gonna have a job done, which is, I believe, I see difference between our ordinance is job guarantee. So whatever takes it, they're gonna be finished by them or by the bond company, either side. City doesn't have to do anything.
Correct.
And then in case of the escrow, which is we approving this one tonight, fund agreements, then in case of they fail, then city has to step in to hire the construction companies. We have to go through all the bidding process. We have to do all the work for that.
And so your question is?
Yes. Okay, so better for us to keep the bond then.
Well, the bond is just one form of security. That's what I'm saying. Dixie Line is another form of security. Cash and land is another form of security.
Yes, but the bond company gonna do all the job.
No, the bond company just holds the money. The
Oh,
security.
yeah, no, here the bond companies are gonna step into to finish the job.
No,
I think
the city.
On other development projects and what was approved as part of their conditions of approval is that they would get surety bonds, which typically are a performance bond and a payment bond. So it's guaranteeing performance of the work, it's guaranteeing payment of the work. So in that respect, this escrow situation is different. It's just saying, here's the money for the work. It's in the escrow account. If the work is not done, the city can step in and get the money. But yes, at that point, then, when the city gets the money, the city would have to fulfill the work.
Yes.
As opposed to the other situation with which the city has typically done with developers, which are the performance bonds and the payments bonds.
I believe that there's a gentleman here that I believe might want to chime in on some information for us.
I'd love to. I'm sorry I didn't fill out a slip, but I wanted to add a couple things.
Thank you, Mr. Servin.
Performance bonds in today's market are almost non-existent because of everything that happened 6 or 7 years ago. They're impossible to get. The only reason that we're proposing this fund control is because it's a solution to developers like us that we're not Pardee, we're not McMillan, we don't have billion-dollar assets. So this allows us and allows the city to physically see where the money is. In other instances where you get bonds and you pay a premium, 2, 3, 4%, if the developer walks, the city has to go after him, and that's not a fun job. I can imagine that happens. In this case, we literally, as soon as you guys sign that, deposit the money, and you see it in an escrow account. And as soon as the work is performed, it gets drawn out and it pays its subcontractors until the job's complete. Today, a bond costs 5% plus 100% reserve of the value of the bond. So it's ridiculous to have a bond. Why should we get a bond? So in an essence, to help transparency and for the city to see the money itself, the money's right there. And if we don't fulfill the terms of the agreement, you guys have the ability to yank the money and just say, I'm going to pay for it or fix it or do whatever you want, just like you would with a regular bond.
What you're saying, it serves as a trust account.
That's exactly what it is.
So we're secure.
And as it says here, what's your name?
Teófilo Jamui from Las Palmas, sorry.
Okay, clarification for the public. Las Palmas Mobile Home Park, it's actually, aren't they manufactured homes?
They are.
They're not mobile homes.
They're not. We're going to have a extensive marketing campaign to clarify that. The problem is Title 25 are mobile home parks, but they're not mobile anymore. They're modular. And
There you
they're
go,
manufactured.
modular, that's the word.
That's
modular.
correct.
Well, I appreciate that. Does anybody else have any questions, any additional questions?
Well, I recall you a little while back giving us a presentation and the designs. They looked very beautiful.
Thank you, sir.
Looking forward to it. So
Okay.
in just layman's terms, we're secure.
Absolutely, with cash, and you can see it.
We're not going to end up holding the bag.
No, I have to finish.
All right, I'd like for you to raise your right hand.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Okay.
Because we have you in our State of the City video, you know that, right?
I didn't know that.
I have second pages on the documents, backup documents.
I'm sorry?
Second page is the backup documents. Mr. Hodge, can you see that, please?
Yes, sir.
Second page documents. And third paragraph, and the third line from the last sentence. The bond company is essentially responsible to step into the shoes of the developers and complete the work. That's bond company. And the fourth paragraph said about middle, right after middle, in this arrangement, the city has no guarantee that the work will be performed by another company. The escrow account just allows the city access the money to pay for the improvement to be complete, and the city would have to bid and handle the construction of the remaining improvements. So which is, I understand your standpoint as a business person. They don't have to spend much money. You guys want us to agreement fund, the fund controlled agreement. But as an elected person from the city, I need to give the maximum guarantee to our community and citizens to deliver the service to what they have deserved. So I believe the bond is the job guarantee, and the fund control is just guarantee for the money. And later on, we might not be able to finish by that money neither.
Okay, anybody else have any other comments? No? Okay.
I make the motion to approve it.
Okay, Mr. Kim is motioning not to approve the resolution to authorize city manager to sign the fund control agreement as amended between the City of Calexico and Dixon Lane Builders Fund Control for Las Palmas Mobile Home Park pursuant to final review by city attorney. Is there a second on that motion?
Second.
Okay, for lack of second, I think we can then accept any other motions at this time. Okay, I would motion for its approval. Any second on that?
Second.
Thank you. Please vote. Thank you. Motion passes 3-2. Item number 10 is the next item under business items. Discussion and/or action on approval of first-time homebuyer payoff. And I guess that would be
I make those motion to approve it.
Mr.
Second.
Hodge? I mean, Mr. Hodge.
I make the motion to approve it.
Second.
I believe this gentleman here is,
I'm here just to answer any questions that you may have on the
are
matter.
you the homeowner?
No, I'm actually the agent that represents...
Can you,
Certainly.
sorry.
Little background.
And I think you already have a motion to approve.
Yeah, you do. I'm just here to answer any questions.
You're actually really lucky if you have that right now.
Yes, and perhaps it's good that you left pretty much for the end. I'm Juan Carlos Ryan. I'm a real estate agent.
You didn't do that purposely.
Yeah, I did. Patience is a virtue, right, that usually pays. I represent the homeowners that unfortunately are going through a hardship situation of a separation, and they need to divest of the sale of the property, of their interest. And to do this, obviously, having to pay off the city loan will impact negatively, and they don't have money to put out of their own pockets to make up the difference. And we have made some allowances. The buyers have made allowances to make it a point where the city would only have to help us by forgiving 25% of the debt.
Staff recommends approval.
Sorry?
Staff recommends approval.
Call for the question. There's a motion on the floor.
Okay. I'm sorry, I believe Mr. Kim, you
I make the motion to approve it.
to approve? And who was my
Second by Mr. Moreno.
Okay, first by
But,
Mr. Kim, second by Mr. Moreno. Please vote.
I'd like to see
Thank you.
the city manager for the
Motion
future.
passes 5-0.
I'd like
sorry,
to make
Mr. Kim.
For the
Did you want to speak?
Yeah, I want to speak. I want to the city manager go in to look into the other people who home buyers if they have issues. Maybe you can try to help them.
Yeah, typically the home buyers come to us when they're having problems, and so we take a look at them individually.
Yes, because we need to relieve them the pressure.
Okay, thank you. Item number 13 is appointments by council members for the following boards and commissions. A is Councilman Moreno. You have a vacancy with the Financial Advisory Board.
Yes, Mr. Horton, were you ready to serve on that commission? I'd like to appoint Mr. Benjamin Horton.
Okay, very good choice,
Senior.
Mr. Benjamin Horton Sr. Thank you. Okay, next item is item number B, Councilman Castro's vacancy on the Police Commission.
Not at this time.
Okay, do you want to have that placed on the next agenda?
Yes.
Okay. The last one is Mr. Kim
Same
on
to
the
me.
Business
I'm on the
Improvement
table.
District. You want to go ahead and for
Yes.
next time?
Yes.
Okay, so we will then have those two items on them for next time. Any other further comments?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you so much, everybody, for your patience.